Am I the a-hole for refusing to have my dad in my life after he chose his new family?
Ooh, high road or the new family road?
Practice families. We talk about it. So, when I was 13 years old, my dad had an affair and left my mom and moved in with his affair partner, who we'll call Janet. That escalated quickly. At first, me and my sister would visit every weekend, and I will admit that he was a good dad, although I never liked Janet. That if he's a good dad, I don't even want to know what Janet's like if she doesn't like her.
Oh my God. Yeah, because if that's his stat bar for being a good dad.
Not great.
Cheating and leaving you for another family.
By the way, this comes from Parking Breadfruit 8 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So when Janet got pregnant and had their son, our visits became less frequent and my dad was more concerned with his new family.
Of course, that's how it goes.
Classic practice family vibes. He would miss some of my recitals or my sister's competitions because he was busy with his new son.
Conspiracy theory, he always wanted a boy.
That's a great conspiracy theory. That's a great conspiracy theory.
He doesn't have time for your recitals. He has times for his son's football games.
Yeah, it's football. Yeah, you know what I mean? He's a little baby. Just like, He just has oh, you know.
Good job, boy!
You know those little toys they have, like the little, dangly things? Yeah. It's all like little footballs. Little footballs. He's like, He's like my little Tom Brady. Anyways, when I was 16, Janet, the stepmom, decided that she wanted to move for a new job opportunity. Me and my sister begged him not to leave us, but he just said, I need to prioritize my family.
What the heck?
When bro accidentally says what he really thinks.
Oh, you should have kept that to yourself, man.
Dude, you should have kept that to yourself.
What the heck?
He moved 10 hours away. This pretty much ended our relationship, and I decided to go no contact as it was clear he did not consider me family.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's going to be calling back whenever you have kids. Calling it.
Yep.
Calling it right now. See? Rewind this whenever it happens. Play this clip whenever this happens, editor.
There we go. Please do. Please do. My younger sister stayed in contact with him. He would try to call me and offer for me to come and visit my sister, but I refused. When he came back to see my sister, I would refuse to speak to him, and when he turned up at the house, I didn't invite him to my high school or college graduation. I'm now 33 years old, from 16 to 33.
Wow.
And have remained no contact with him ever since. He has over the years repeatedly tried contacting me and getting his family to contact me on his behalf to reconcile.
Don't you remember what you said, dude?
You said I had to prioritize my family. Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, and she's letting you do that, so leave her alone.
Yeah, dude. Come on. I have avoided family events in case he attended, including my sister's wedding and baby showers. Yikes.
That's so sad.
Yeah, that's
a lot.
That's a lot. Actually, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. I think maybe that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe.
Missing your sister's wedding because you don't want to see your dad.
Wedding and baby shower, yeah. That's kind of tough. That's kind of tough. My dad and his family moved back to our hometown 3 months ago, and he has been relentless trying to reconcile.
Why?
You fumbled the bag, dude. Sorry. I've received messages from my half-brother and sister wanting a relationship, saying he's a great dad. Yeah, to you.
Yeah, half-brother, just stay out of this.
Yeah, just stay. Yeah, guys. Stop. This ain't your battle, guys. Ain't your battle. My dad found out I'm getting married and keeps trying to contact me and has even tried to speak to my fiance. Whoa. Janet, the evil stepmom, messaged me saying I have broken my dad's heart repeatedly and I'm pathetic and should get therapy. I replied back that she was nothing but a home-wrecking and then blocked her. Uh-oh. I think we might be venturing into some everyone sucks territory.
Yeah.
I think we might be venturing into that because you missed this is her full sister's wedding and baby shower when, your sister's probably like, and at the end of the day, people are going to do what they're going to do,
Yeah.
But if I could see myself being an OP sister's bitch and be like, I know you don't want to see dad, but I thought your love and appreciation wanting to be there for me would be stronger than your hate and resentment of our dad. You know what I mean?
Yes, I agree.
Like, you know what? Hey, live your life, I guess. But yeah.
You just hate your,
and then that comment, I just don't think there's ever a reason to call a woman that name, to be honest with you.
Oh.
An or.
Oh, an or. Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah. Even if they're spicy working, come on.
Everyone seems to be wanting me to let him back in my life. I'm sick of all the harassment and accidentally bumping into my dad and his family in town. Uh-oh. Oh, because they just moved back.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot OP was also there too.
And the step brother the half brother is probably playing football on the side of the road, and you see him, and you see the dad slipping on a banana with another woman somewhere.
He's getting his Heisman Trophy.
Yep.
You know,
Starting a new family.
Starting throwing
baseball with another kid. You know,
Dude.
He wanted a boy that was into baseball, not football. A lot of things can happen around town. That's what I'm imagining.
Oh my God! From the girl to the football player, he's like, no, I need baseball now.
Yep, exactly.
Whenever I see him, I just walk away and refuse to speak to them. Everyone is saying he's a good dad and tried his best to remain in contact, but I pushed him away. That's fake news. Everyone is pressuring me. My mom, my sister, grandparents, aunts, uncles, even some of my friends. My fiance has even started saying I'm the a-hole for shutting him out. It's all starting to get to me. So, am I the a-hole? We have our first update of this episode coming up. But real quick.
You think she is the a-hole for that comment? You can say it.
I think that's an a-hole move. Yeah.
Is she the a-hole for that comment?
Yes, she's the a-hole for that comment. And
He's so afraid to call people the a-hole on the show. I hate having people on the fence. I'm like, dude, just get on one side of the fence.
You're right. We got to get on one side. Obviously, the dad's the a-hole. I mean, he abandoned his family and literally said I had to prioritize my family to his daughters. I mean, that is...
What the F?
That is, and clearly that is something that's stuck with her for the rest of her life.
Yeah, that's why she won't even see his face.
Yeah, exactly. And Opie is asking if she's the a-hole because everyone's like, oh, forget the dad.
Yeah.
I don't agree with all those people. I think that, you know, if Opie is like, listen, you abandoned me when I was a teenager, you know, even before that, you know, at a very delicate time in my life as a child, as a growing up, you abandoned me, and you don't get to get back together with me just because you want to. This is my decision. Hey, you wanted out of your life. You've out of my life. You've gotten what you wanted.
Yeah. So stop trying to crawl back into my life. That's
fine, but don't fight fire with fire.
Yeah.
I think. Thank you for all the comments. Although most seem to be not the a-hole. Some said you were the a-hole, myself included. Some of you gave me helpful suggestions, which I am planning to take on board. I have just spoken to my fiance, and unfortunately, it has not gone well. But at this point in time, I've had enough and want to run away and never come back.
Oh no!
Wait a second. From her fiance or from everyone?
From everyone, I think. Oh.
My fiance knows my history with my dad and Janet. I explained to him that him siding with my father and pressuring me was hurting me as my fiance. He should be supporting me.
Oh, yeah, because the dad has been going behind Opie's back.
He's been trying to get everyone to pressure her, right? Which sucks. If you truly cared about her, you would say, hey, I would love to be in your life, and I'm so regretful of this terrible mistake I made, but I'm going to let you come to your own conclusion, and I'll be here if you're ever willing to talk to me.
Yeah.
I don't deserve it, but I'm here for it.
Dude, this guy sounds like my grandpa. My dad's dad, his name was Spud, and he had like 4 wives and whatever.
Yeah.
So like it feels like Spud was charming because he was a high school coach, and everyone in the community was liked him. Whenever he died, he had Spud tails and people
charismatic.
Super charismatic.
Tails.
I feel like this is what OP's dad's like. Super charismatic, does what he wants, and gets away with it, and has a smooth way of talking. So that's why the fiance is sort of like, let him back in your life. Seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, and also I'm getting, because he's not saying, hey, I'll be here, but like I'm not going to pressure you, and he's instead like he's getting everyone to pressure OP. I'm getting the sense he wants to do it so he looks good.
Yep.
That's what my intuition is saying. My fiance, who I'll call Larry, told me that he can't support me in doing something that he knows is wrong.
What?
Whoa. Larry told me that he spoke to my father and had an understanding of both sides of the story and believes that if we both sit down and talk, we can sort this out and reconcile. I told Larry that I don't want this and I want no contact, and asked why he is even speaking to my father. Larry admitted his father, who is friends with my dad, encouraged Larry to speak to him and hear him out.
Nope. OP's dad definitely manipulated that and was like, oh, let me be friends with the fiance's dad so she can talk to me.
And to OP's, and to be fair to OP, this is kind of more reason why she's like, hey, I don't want to talk to him, because see how he's like turning everyone to like pressure me. Like this is terrible.
Yeah,
like, come on. Larry told me my dad loved me very much and always wanted to be in my life, and has pictures of me. I'm guessing he got those from my family, as my social media is set to private. Larry said my dad is heartbroken at the state of our relationship because I was being unreasonable about him moving away when I was young. He doesn't get it.
He doesn't get it. You have to take responsibility for your own actions.
That is a huge thing you need to apologize for. At the barest of minimums, dude. You hurt her so much as a kid.
Oh, I'm going to go hang out with my new family now.
Yeah. See you later.
What do you think this is going to do to a kid?
Dude, come on. Larry stated that I got on the wrong foot with Janet and that I was not innocent in the breakdown of the relationship. He told me that everyone can see the truth but me and to look in the mirror because I'm the problem.
Oh my gosh.
Larry, you might need to go.
Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye to OP, man.
We might have to treat Larry like the lobster and throw him in the boiling pot.
I bet you Larry met Opie's dad at a bar and got brainwashed in like less than 15 minutes. That's all it takes is 15 minutes.
Dude, limp spine Larry.
Wet toast.
Dude, wet
spine
toast spine Larry. Dude, wet toast spine is just so great. I'm so glad.
Phenomenal.
I'm just so glad we got that. I don't know what story that came from, but I'm just so glad we read that. Needless to say, I broke down crying and asked him why was he doing this to me and not supporting me. Larry claims to love me, but won't stand by me and watch me be a heartless bee. Larry.
Dude.
Helena Bain says, bye-bye, Larry.
Bye-bye, Larry.
Dude, after he said this, I stood up and told him that he shouldn't marry a heartless bee and walked out.
Nice.
Ooh.
That's pretty solid.
Great comeback.
It's so crazy that someone could turn on you this quickly.
Yeah.
Someone you love.
Dude, she was ready to marry this man, and here he is going absolutely crazy.
That's so...
I'm currently sat in my car. My phone is blowing up with Larry trying to contact me, but I don't want to speak to him. I feel like I'm losing everything and everyone. I don't understand what is happening.
This is a good thing that happened to OP. In a marriage, you need to have a united front. He can't even be united on her on this decision.
Thank God they didn't get married yet.
Absolutely.
Thank God. Thank God. But we have another update. Hi, everyone. Thanks for the comments and letting me make some noise on you as I desperately needed an outside perspective. I know a lot of you are telling me to cut all contact with my family and leave town. That is not an option for me financially, and I would not be able to set up business elsewhere. All my money is invested in it, and I have only managed to get established recently with steady income. Relocating is not an option for me. So it sounds like OP's like invested everything into her business and finances here. It's kind of tied to
That's tough.
I love my friends and my family and don't want to cut everyone off. I love my hometown where I grew up. This is my life, and I'm not willing to walk away from it. Which it sounds like wasn't OP like I want to skip town earlier or something like that?
Yeah. She's like, I want to leave. I think her title was like, I want to leave and run away.
Yeah.
Because her fiance turned on her. Her dad's now in her.
Maybe it's like, I want to leave, but I'm not going to.
She came to the realization that she can't.
I can't do it. She's like, my whole life is here.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to write another update this fast, but a lot has happened today. So firstly, I agreed to meet my dad and try to talk to him to get him to back off and leave me alone.
Whoa, that's a huge step.
That is a huge step. How do we think it's going to go?
He's going to try and smooth talk her, but she is already hurt enough, and she sees him like as the worst person ever.
Yeah.
So she's not gonna like oblige to it.
Like she's not going to go along with it.
Yeah, no, not at all. How do you think it's going to work?
Yeah, I think she's going to be like, leave me alone. He's like, no. If you really cared about me, you would give me the space and acknowledge that you did this to me back in the past. Come on now. I asked my mom to arrange the meeting, just him, no one else. I wasn't sure if he would agree to that, but within 15 minutes of her calling, he was at the door. Whoa, bro is on top of it. I asked my mom to stay and mediate. To summarize the conversation, these are a bit messed up because it's a lot to remember. But I asked him to give me space and stop trying to get everyone on his side and let me live my life. I told him he stopped being my father when he moved 10 hours away. I told him Janet was mean to me and told him all the horrible things she has said to me over the years. I hate how he chose Janet and his new family over me and how he told me he had to prioritize them and how he basically told me I wasn't family. He was an a-hole for withholding my college fund and trying to blackmail me and then spending it on his new family.
Oh, didn't know that.
Bro,
he was like, here. You have to talk to me. Come get the carrot.
And Opie's like, no, I'm gonna stick to this. He's like, all right. Boop.
This is like when people don't sign an NDA with money. Real quick, you know Zach Bryan, the country singer?
Yeah, vaguely, yes.
So his ex Bree is on like Barstool's podcast.
Oh, really?
They broke up. Zach Bryan's team said, "Hey, if you sign this NDA, we'll give you $12 million." She turned it down. because of all the effed up crap Zach Bryant did to her.
No.
There's stories. She talks about it on the podcast, but there are so many stories about it.
Because if you're trying to give someone 12, if you had a relationship that ended and you did nothing, well, why would you care? It's like, go ahead. Like, talk about it, you know? $12 million?
Mm-hmm. Not to say nothing about it.
Bro.
And that's what that feels like. If she would have took the college fund, she could not
like, all right,
whatsoever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She had to shut up about anything and couldn't say that he's ever a bad person.
I hate how I've missed major family events because he attended the events and would make them awkward. I didn't see his son and daughter as my family, and I'm sick of them trying to speak to me and approach me. He keeps making scenes every time he sees me and making me look like the bad guy.
That is so crazy. Every time in public, hey, why aren't you going to talk to me? I'm your dad.
Yeah, right? And then everyone's like, huh? Like, I'm just trying to buy an apple, but what's going on over here?
Yeah, exactly. Were we at the grocery store?
Yeah. I mean, where else would you run into him? I feel like
the
that's
apple orchard. Where did this apple come from?
That's the real question. He keeps inserting himself into my life, going to my fiance's family events and going behind my back to talk and sway Larry to his side. Yeah. I hate how he cheated on my mom, bro. We forgot about that one.
Totally forgot about that.
Dude, he literally cheated on her mom when she was like a teenager. I hate how he cheated on my mom and broke our family up, and then listened to Janet, who stopped our dates, missed my recitals, reduced contact, and was more concerned about his son. So now we're hearing his perspective. Okay, so this is him, dad. He loves me and always has, and is never going to give up trying to connect. And he has given me enough space over the years and is done hearing about my life from secondhand knowledge and is not willing to miss any more of it. I'm sorry, but that's not your choice, brother. Sorry. He loves Janet and can't regret his past because he wouldn't have her as two kids. Bro, you are literally...
And his superstar base football
his Heisman Trophy son. You are not understanding it literally 1 ounce. So why should she forgive you?
Yeah.
Why should she forgive you? Because you're not acknowledging the pain that you gave her. Not even acknowledging it, let alone apologizing for it. Dude. He wishes he had done it differently and ended his marriage with my mom first. But you didn't. His kids are innocent and I shouldn't be taking it out on them. They just want to know their big sister, but they're harassing her. Okay.
Every moment they can.
Dude, I was a difficult child who was rude and disrespectful to Janet, breaking her belongings, calling her names, ruining day outs. Maybe because she was hurt and torn apart because you cheated on her mother,
her sweet mother,
and then you left and and basically said you're not family. And maybe she was a child who didn't know how to deal with these emotions and wasn't getting love from her father, let alone like the therapy or other means of support to process through this. Maybe that's why she was frustrated. Okay.
Yeah, can you not see it, dude?
Dude. When Janet got pregnant, she was high risk, and me coming every week and starting arguments was stressing her out. For her and his son's sake, he stopped the weekend visitation. Wow. Maybe if you set it up better, she wouldn't be arguing with you.
Yeah, maybe if you listen to her.
Dude, he's taking -1,000 accountability here. Sorry. He still spoke to us on the phone and took us out for dinner and days out, but just didn't let us sleep over. When his son was born, he was premature and had health complications, which meant him staying in the hospital for weeks and frequent hospital admissions. Janet was also going through postpartum depression, so wasn't able to see us as much and had to miss some events when he was taking care of Janet and his son. Janet was unable to get a job locally, and the opportunity was too good to pass up, so they had to move. He pointed out that they came back to town for weekends as much as he could to see us and would always invite us to fly out and spend vacations with him. He phoned every day, but I refused to speak or see him. They had flown in for my graduation, but I refused to invite him, and he lost his temper and refused to give me my college fund. He apologized for this and tried to fix this a few weeks later and give me the money, but I refused it.
Okay, that's big too.
Yeah, new information. He has not spent the money and he still has it. And I have to only ask and I can have it. Don't feel like all OP has to do is ask. I feel like
No. There's so many entanglements with this.
The dangling carrot is she's like poking it out behind the door, right?
Yep. All you have to ask and you have to be my daughter again.
Yeah. And you have to say, here's your contract of how you have to say, OP's dad is greatest dad ever and is the best. Minimum 1 Instagram post every Father's Day.
I love dad.
I love dad. He is best. Thank you for money.
Thank you, dad.
Thank you, dad. He had visited me at my college to try to talk to me, but I refused to see him. He is going to miss family events. 6, He makes a scene because he misses me and just wants to talk to me and reconcile, but you don't respect her space. But I always end up running away or shouting insults at him and Janet. 7, he has been trying for 16 years to reconnect, but I shut him down at every turn, and he just wants to be my dad. He is old friends with my fiance's dad, and he hoped my fiance could talk some sense into me and open a line of communication. Again, doesn't get it for the 1,000th time. He never feels I gave Janet a chance, no matter how she tried in the beginning, and hoped we could be civil. Janet hates knowing I talk bad about her, am mean to her children, and won't speak to him. Again, just to summarize, so that's the end of his. Now we're going to get into his wants section.
Okay.
But dad just so clearly does not see how he hurt or acknowledges the hurt of his daughter.
Yep. Very prideful.
I feel like, look, OP is the a-hole in several instances, right?
Yeah.
However, I feel like if the dad acknowledged the pain and hurt and basically said what we said earlier, like, hey, I know I don't deserve it. You could, never speak to me again, but I want you to know I'm sorry. I'm ready to do the work, and I'm here if you're ever willing to open the door to me.
Yeah.
I feel like she would have a very different outlook at the least.
Yeah.
Maybe OP would stray away from at least from the a-hole behavior and say like, hey, look, I'm not going to be your best friend, but okay, I'll stop with the a-hole behavior. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
So let's get to his wants. My dad is in therapy and wants me to join him for family sessions. He wants me to spend time with him one-on-one, to stop being rude and mean to his children and spend time with him.
So sorry, real quick. I know that he sweet talked his therapist, and remember that one story where the husband and the wife went into a therapy room, and the wife turned out that she was gay, and the therapist basically agreed with her, like, "Oh, you need to support her and her decision of being gay," and did not address that she cheated on him.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, well, she's bisexual, and you need to support her like exploring her bisexuality." And he's like, "But she's cheating on me."
Yeah.
And I don't want that.
I feel like that's what he's gonna do with the therapist. He's gonna make the therapist is gonna swindle it to make it look like it's been OP's fault, and OP needs to work it, and that the dad is all good.
To stop trash talking Janet to everyone and actually give her a chance. Invite an invite for him and my family to my wedding and to walk me down the aisle. That's bro is got a tall list.
Dude, she's not having a wedding anymore, man.
Right?
Forget about that. And you have
bro's got a tall order and no money to pay it. My wants, what I want. Him to stop talking to my friends and getting others to try to talk to me on his behalf. Keep Janet away from me completely. To be civil at events or in town, providing he does not try and hug me or talk to me. My mom told me he was being unrealistic with some of the things he wants. There we go. At least one sane person. I mean, she was cheated on him after all. Thank God he hasn't poisoned her mind.
Yeah.
And he wants, especially regarding Janet and his other children. So we have agreed for now. Okay. So it seems like they've come to, I don't know exactly what the middle ground between the two wants we just got, but it seems like they have agreed for now to some sort of middle ground. Actually, we get some more here. I will attend 3 therapy sessions with him when he arranges it. My mom thinks I need individual therapy as well. I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
He will stop trying to interfere in my life and relationships, and he will keep Janet away from me and talk to his kids to give me space. Okay. It still feels like he's doing these deeds with ulterior motives.
Absolutely. Dude.
So it's like, yeah, you're doing this for now, but you're doing this just to get what you want down the line. And I don't know that your actual beliefs have changed.
I would love to see the patterns he pulled whenever he cheated on OP's mom and see if these patterns align. Like the manipulation tactics that he talked to Janet about. Yeah, I'm still with her, but we're in an open relationship, or like all these promises he gave to Janet. I mean, he probably pulled through with them, but
I don't trust him at all.
Oh, heck no.
I don't trust him at all. And I also, just to say real quick too, not to excuse OP being an a-hole, but I see why she was so steadfast on her boundaries of like, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
Because he keeps trying to pull this crap.
Yeah.
And it's like, listen, I just don't want to be involved, and you continue to, I feel like OP should say, if you acknowledge the pain and like actually, if you like do it in a way where I actually feel that you truly understand and you show through like time and your actions that you truly understand that, then we can rebuild a relationship. Until then, which literally right now you don't do, I'm not going to do it because right now we're just reaching this kind of weird transactional compromise. It kind of feels like, And, I guess kudos to OP for trying, and the dad is making some concessions, but I don't know. We'll see. Well, let's see how it ends up. So I will be civil to him in public as long as he respects my personal space and doesn't approach or pressure me. As for my fiance, I still haven't spoken to him. He turned up at my mom's house, but she refused to let him in. Thank God.
Let's go.
At least we have a W mom here.
Yeah, let's go, mom. Let's go, mom.
He keeps blowing up my phone. So does his family and friends, telling me to hear him out. Doesn't sound like part of the deal. During my conversation with my dad, I found out that my dad has paid for most of the vendors and services for my upcoming wedding. Again,
honestly, that's good for OP because that's his money.
Good for OP, but feels manipulative.
Because if they, like you said, alternative motives, if she got married, didn't know this, he would have been like, well, I paid for this, 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 and this.
Exactly.
So in a way, she's kind of stepping out. Like, it was a good thing that her and her fiance broke up.
Oh, because OP will just get the money? Or
No, because the dad would have used this against OP if she got married. And he would have been like, hey, I paid for this, 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 and this.
Oh, yeah. But now that the wedding's falling through, it's like, okay, now you can't use it against me.
And that's why the fiance was like, you need to give him a chance. You need to do this. Because how is he paying for all of this stuff?
Ooh. He's like, I'll do the dream wedding, but I'm going to have dad secretly pay for it. Whoa.
You get her to talk to me, I'll pay for the dream wedding.
You've gone on fire lately with the predictions and insights.
Dude, like being in the other place that is coming out soon.
Ooh.
I've just been on it, dude. I'm just like, I read these patterns. I see them. What do you call that? I don't know. I need like a certification in this. I really would like to be a therapist, but I looked into being a therapist and it's like 8 years of a part-time job.
Yeah, it's like too much time commitment. And they have been on speaking terms for quite some time, longer than I thought. Larry told me his family had paid for these, and I believed him.
So he lies too.
Liar! I felt betrayed by him and that I couldn't trust him. I'm going to have to speak to him eventually, but I don't feel ready. Update number 3. Should we just dive in?
Yeah. We already had our piece.
Firstly, I'd like to apologize for taking down my posts. I was really upset and felt under pressure and needed space to think without constant messages. Some of you were trying to be helpful, and I appreciate that, but some abusive messages I received were terrible. I'm updating for those who have asked for an update and were supportive to me. This will be my last post, and I won't be posting again. The episode is only halfway over.
Yeah, dude, we got way more.
So you know. Firstly, the deal with my dad is off the table.
Good.
He couldn't even manage a week without overstepping my boundaries. Knew it. Dude, absolutely. So there will be no therapy sessions with him, and I will remain no contact. As you were all aware after speaking to my dad and agreeing a way forward from my conditions, keep Janet away from me. Tell the kids to back off. Don't pressure me or invade my space. Guys, it lasted all of 3 days. Everyone seemed happy. I had forgiven my dad and told me so. My sister was excited. I was willing to give him a chance, and with some pressure, I agreed to having dinner with just her and my dad. When my sister and I arrived at the restaurant to meet our dad, he was not alone. He had invited Janet, my grandparents, his son, and daughter. It was supposed to be him and the other daughter. That was it. Bro threw a whole family reunion with the real family.
This just shows you every inch he takes, he's going to take a mile.
Yes. He never understood OP's pains.
Yeah, no.
Never acknowledged it.
Not at all.
Never acknowledged it. What do you think, Ghost Producer? Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
Good thoughts.
I immediately became upset, asking why they were there. My dad told me that if we have any hope of repairing our relationship, I had to accept Janet and my other siblings.
Dude, you have to repair the relationship. She's just being nice enough to say that she would.
If you have any hope of us having a relationship, then you need to accept these freaking nuts.
Ooh!
Got him. I told him he just broke our deal and to never contact me again and tried to leave. What do you think, OP? To leave successfully, Riley?
Oh, of course she will. She'll get to walk to her car, turn her car on, and drive off and live happily ever after without anyone ever bothering her again.
Yeah, he refused to let me leave and grabbed a hold of me.
Oh my gosh.
911. When I said all heck broke loose, I mean it. I started shouting at them. My dad, Janet, the grandparents tried to gaslight me and convince me to sit down When that didn't work, things got very heated and a shouting match started, and a lot of unforgivable things were said by my dad and Janet, including remarks about my appearance and calling me a psychopath.
Dude, done. Absolutely done.
Absolutely
done. You don't even understand what you're doing here.
My half-brother walked out of the restaurant, and my half-sister started to cry. My sister actually surprised me and defended me, shouting at my dad for ruining things after all this time and when I had finally given him a chance. She even slapped Janet. Whoa. Guys, they're like so close to like, okay, you're
like
defending
going
yourself
right up to the line,
and then you cross it. Come on, guys, come on. We were so close to really asserting our boundaries and all that jazz.
You're not looking like the good guy.
Also, OP was like, she even slapped Janet. Like, amazing. Look at that. What a bonus. That's what it feels like. Anyways, she got me out of there and apologized to me. I think this is the first time that she had really seen how Janet was with me and how she treated me. So maybe OP was the one that caught the brunt of, everyone's distaste.
Yeah, because she was probably getting all the smooth talking from the dad.
She kept saying that she couldn't understand how dad had spent years saying he would do anything to have me back, and then would do this when he finally got his chance to rebuild the relationship. Literally, it's like, hey, you want to do anything? Here's my list of boundaries. Just respect him. That's literally all you have to do, and yet you do the most. You literally had to do less effort. You could have just invited just 2 people, like you said, but you put in more of your wasting time and energy to destroy my boundaries.
Come on, dude.
What do you think? What do you think I'm going to do? My dad has been trying to contact me, but I have blocked him and refused to talk to him.
Nice.
Sounds familiar, tragically. I have also refused to speak to my grandparents. My dad has tried to convince my mom and sister to speak to me, but I think he's burned the bridges with them. Good.
Nice.
The incident from the restaurant has spread, and some people seem to be backing off.
Oh, nice. Good.
Now we got the tides are turning. Like I said, what my dad and Janet shouted at me was unforgivable, and they were overheard. And remember, this is a small town. Yep.
Yeehaw.
Yahoo! Hopefully people will back off, and those who won't, I'm going to have to cut them out. My sister is very unhappy with my dad, and Janet is not speaking with them. She is blaming them for me going no contact again. My sister is not letting them see her kids. I don't know if my sister will reconcile right now, but she's furious. My mom is also furious and apparently had a few choice words with my dad and Janet, and has promised she will never pressure me to speak to him again. I am going to individual therapy, and I think I definitely need it.
Yes, you do.
I definitely agree. I do feel bad about my half-siblings as they haven't done anything wrong, and am maybe open to having a distance kind of relationship with them in the future, but I'm not ready yet or not sure if I'll ever be. Super quick on that. They have pressured OP. When I feel like they should be like, hey, I realize, you feel, I think they should say something similar to what the dad should have said.
Yeah.
I realize you're upset. I would love to build a relationship with you. If you don't want to do that, I'm going to respect your boundary. But I'll be here and would love to hopefully over time build a familiar sibling relationship if and when you're open to it. And that I feel like OP was willing to come to the table with the dad. I feel like OP would have done this, but they were pressuring him and they backed the dad. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
They're backing the dad here. So I actually do think they've done something wrong, and OP doesn't need to talk to them, in my humble opinion. I did send them a message on Facebook to apologize and tell them they've done nothing wrong. Well, I guess OP's being good, being overly nice in that sense.
Yeah.
Anywho. Lastly, to update you all in regards to my fiance, Larry.
They're done.
Larry the lame
There's no
lobster.
coming back from this.
Well, I spoke to him yesterday about everything. I had been radio silent since walking out on him. Basically, he was pressured by his father to speak to my dad and was fed a sob story of how my misunderstood father desperately wanting to be in his daughter's life. Larry had become annoyed with me refusing to attend his family events and walking out of his mother's birthday when I realized my dad and Janet were there, as he was getting pressure from his family about me ruining their events.
Because probably the family was in a little bit of financial troubles, and Larry may have talked, because Larry is friends. The reason Larry got in the reason OP's dad got in contact with Larry is because Larry's dad and OP's dad are friends.
And he's paying for the wedding.
OP
thought that Larry's dad was the one that was paying for the wedding, but no, it was OP's dad. But OP he lied to her.
And I think the parents were in financial trouble, and OP's dad was like, "Oh, I can come and help you out. Look, what's your son's
Scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. I'll get her back on my side, and I'll be able to look like the good here. This is like the one stain on. He's like managed to like beat the alley. Like he cheated, but still he was like charismatic character in the town. But this is the one smudge he was trying to clean off his record, but then it all backlashed and came back on him.
Yep.
It's delicious. He just wanted everyone to be happy and get along, clearly at my expense. Correct. Larry admitted my dad had paid for some of the vendors for the wedding, but he did not know that until after it was already paid. Don't trust him.
I called it. Read the next sentence.
His father had told Larry that him and his mom had paid. My dad had told Larry it was a gift and his way of contributing. Larry admitted my dad had asked him to speak to me on his behalf.
They weren't in a bad money sitch, but he did.
He basically, they were like having him pay for it, basically. Yeah. It could have been. They totally could have been, though. I told Larry he had betrayed my trust, and I couldn't see myself marrying someone who does not support me. Thank God.
Yep.
Thank God.
Yep.
That is absolutely true.
So in a way, he didn't really lie to her about that point. About the...
But he did, though, right? Because he said that the parents
took the money as a gift.
Oh, sorry.
But I thought that he didn't know
the parents were in cahoots. Yeah. So basically Larry was unaware because he thought it was a gift from his parents. Meanwhile, it was a gift from Opie's dad. And he didn't know.
But the second he did, but it seemed like he did know at one point, and he should have told OP about it.
Yeah, like he found it eventually. He should have told her eventually, and then he called her a bee, like a hateful bee or something.
A heartless bee.
A heartless bee, dude.
Come on, dude.
Are you kidding me?
Don't say that to the woman, your love of your life, dude. What the heck?
Golly. He broke down crying, apologizing to me, and promised to never do it again.
Too late.
Larry was heartbroken and begged for a second chance. To those of you who wanted me to break up with him, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but we are going to try to work through this. Apart from this issue, he has been the best partner, and I genuinely think he had been manipulated by his family and my dad. I don't like it.
He's going to have to work really hard. Larry's going to have to be putting in the work. He better be looking like Larry Lobster by the end of this.
Oh, yeah. Larry had promised to stand up to his family and go no contact with my dad. We shall see. I am still living at my mom's, as I still need some space, which I won't have if I move home. We are going to contact our wedding vendors and see what our options are next week. Larry is begging for a postponement rather than to cancel it altogether. We may still break up as actions speak louder than words, and I need to see if he can rebuild what we had and show me I can trust and depend on him. Update number 4 is coming up here.
Well, I don't even know what this update is going to be like.
I
think they break up. I think Larry disproves her trust and they break up.
Because you know what seems to be kind of the running theme here is like, OP's like, she's like got hurt. She goes hard on her boundaries. Mm-hmm. She's like, no, don't do this. She's like, okay, we'll give it a try. We'll see if it works out. You know, you're the one coming to me begging for me to be back in your life with a dad, with Larry, whatever. And then those people end up disappointing her and just doing the same old and suck.
Just respect her boundaries. Like no one's respecting her here.
No one's respecting
except for her mom and her sister. She finally got her sister back, and her mom's respecting her.
Glad that her and the sister rebuilt their relationship.
And the snake is exposed.
The snakes are exposed, dude. The snakes are exposed. I do not trust Larry as far as I can throw him.
Yep.
And that's not far.
Kaylin 86. Dad and Janet show up at the wedding.
Not only do Dad and Janet show up, Dad's whole real family shows up, dude. The
football brother.
The full armada, the cavalry walk in, and they want to make OP look bad at the wedding so that way the dad looks good.
Oh my gosh, I think so.
Well, update number 4. Hi everyone. I did not plan to make another update, but I'm still getting messages for an update, and I thought I would let you know the recent developments. So firstly, I've canceled the wedding, and I was able to get some partial refunds, but have lost some money. Larry begged me not to cancel the wedding, but there was no way I could marry him after what he did.
Oh, wow.
Yes!
Oh, wow.
Yes!
Okay, so she came around.
I was set on giving him a second chance. OP was going to do it.
She set her boundaries. Dude, you freaking called this.
Here we go.
You freaking called this.
What do we say? And he promised me he would go low contact, stand up to his parents, and issue an ultimatum that we would not tolerate any contact with Dad and Janet, evil stepmom.
Easy, right?
Seems so simple. Basically, he would tell them that we would not attend any event or party they were invited to, and we would not tolerate any attempt to force contact or relationship with my dad. He met with them to explain this to them. When he came back from this meeting, he was quite irritable with me and appeared to have had a change of heart, to summarize it. He was trying to convince me his family only meant well and that he can't go into low contact with his family because he loves them and he can't dictate their friendships.
So she also said he had to go low contact with his own family?
Yeah, that actually I was like, wait a second.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know that.
I don't feel good about that part.
Yeah, I think you can say, dude, OP's side, they always, it's like, yes, stating your boundaries. They don't understand you. Yes. And then they cross the line.
And then they cross the line, yeah.
I think you can say.
You go low contact with my dad and his family, but you don't have to go no contact with your own family.
Yeah. Like think about the.
Because they're victims in this situation.
He then tried to convince me that it won't be an issue in the future and his father would speak to my dad and tell him to be on his best behavior in my presence. Oh, yes. OP was like, hey, I can't force him to like not speak to his mom. And look, there's definitely situations where I think we've seen it before.
We've seen multiple ones where you have to go no contact with his own family.
And so that's totally an option.
But this one isn't one of those.
Yeah, this is it's just kind of hard. But I think you could say like, hey, I don't want to talk to them, protect me from them. I don't want to go to events where I see them. Things like that. It's like, hey, don't put me in their path to where I can get hurt by them. But like, I understand if you want to have a relationship with them. It's in that weird middle ground, right? But anyways, I digress. As soon as I heard the people's comments went through my head, and the main one being, if we had children, he would take them to his family where my dad and Janet would be, and I would have no control over this. Bro, why are you digging your own grave? Can I ask you why you went to the store, bought a shovel, and started digging your own grave?
Yep. And then you got some wood and started making a coffin.
And then he said, don't bury me, please.
And
please.
as he's sinking into it.
As he's sinking into the grave he dug, he's like, please, no. Oh my gosh, I know I built this and I made the coffin and everything else, but please.
Yep. And he somehow has a clone that is putting dirt over his coffin.
Dude, come on, dude. Man. At that moment, I realized I couldn't trust Larry and never would be able to talk that talk.
Yep, honestly.
I broke up with him. He is not taking it well and keeps begging me to take him back and that he would go no contact with his family. You already said that and didn't do it.
You already had a second chance.
Oh my God. His family and his friends are trying to convince me on his behalf not to end our relationship. He made his choice and proven to me that he is spineless.
Or like we like to say,
wet toast spine. Not sourdough days old. I don't need him in my life. In regards to my dad, I'm looking into getting a restraining order given. Ooh. Honestly, yes. After what happened to the restaurant, I might be able to, but I don't know as of yet. A friend of mine is helping me look into this. My dad has kept a low profile since last week, apart from a couple attempts to apologize to me. I haven't heard from him much. My sister still won't speak to him or Janet. Unlike me, my sister is highly confrontational and has blasted him and Janet on social media.
LFG.
Let's go, old book face, with what happened at the restaurant and things that have happened in the past, which I don't know about.
This restaurant is a 5 stars. This is where my dad tried to manipulate my sister into going back into contact with them.
Dude, duking it out in the Yelp reviews is amazing. Dude, there's probably some great Yelp reviews that we could read. That would be
hilarious.
Yeah. A little different, but hey. My sister and Janet had a very public screaming match when she had seen them in town due to my sister's post and demanding to take them down. It ended up with Janet attacking my sister.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because the sister slapped Janet, so Janet is now attacking the sister.
I see.
Yep.
See,
eye for an eye.
This is why we don't slap or do those things or call people ors or bees or do those other things.
We be the bigger person here.
Be the bigger person, because then guess what? They will just sink lower and lower and
exactly.
lower.
It makes them look worse.
It makes them look worse and worse and worse. And you stay over here and you're like, listen, I'm trying to be respectful, but boundaries, hardline those. Hardline. Restraining order, boom, hit you.
Yep.
You disrespect the restraining order, boom, I'm suing you, taking you to court. Put you in jail. I don't care.
Don't care.
But just don't cross the line of violence and those other things. So anyways. John's golden rules. Let's talk.
John's golden rules.
Come on, pretty good stuff. My dad apparently sided with Janet on this. Who's surprised?
Of course, yeah.
Who's surprised?
Honestly.
My sister now hates Janet and refuses to speak to our dad, who is also trying to contact her. Not him starting the process all over again with his sister.
You're like, well,
I
it
cannot
worked.
with this.
It didn't work with OP, but it's surely going to work with his sister.
Dude, yeah. My dad and Janet's reputation seems to have taken a hit between the incident in the restaurant and my sister's fight with Janet and the numerous Bookface posts about them. I knew it was Bookface. People are gossiping.
Ooh, stirring the pot.
This has worked well for me because some people have backed off, which I'm happy about. Unfortunately, there are a few people still on his side, including my ex's parents.
Okay, now you know who the real ones are.
Exactly.
Well, kind of real ones. The
Yeah,
real ones
honestly,
would have been on
yeah.
your side all along,
Yeah.
but now you kind of know.
The half real.
They were probably looking into the swirling black and white snake eyes of the dad, and they didn't know what was right and wrong.
Could have been manipulated. It's possible. It's possible. As for my half siblings, there's not much of an update in regards to them.
They're just playing football.
Winning trophies. I found a therapist. However, there is a bit of a waiting list before I can start my therapy. I'm still living with my mom, who's completely on my side, and I have found a kitten and pick her up next week. Kitten should be more of a solution.
I think Socrates called this. I won't be posting here again. Proceeds with 30 updates. I think that's who said that.
Yeah, he's right, dude. Update number 5.
Here we go.
Hi, everyone. I thought I would give you an update as to what's been happening the last couple of weeks. For those of you who are still interested,
We are.
here we are. Firstly, I'm still at my mom's house, and I've got my little kitten. I named her Sasha, and she is the sweetest thing, but very energetic.
Aw.
For those of you asking for pictures, I'll try, but she refuses to stay still long enough to not get one that's blurred. I love her already. My mom continues to be my rock. I'm still waiting for therapy, but finding Reddit useful and therapeutic. And the support I've received from most of the people on here has been great and helped me see things more clearly. So a big thank you to everyone.
I'm so glad we got a little bit of something good here.
Yes, LFG's in the chat. As for my ex, now that we've broken up, I feel lighter and free. Being away from him has made me see all of the red flags that I was blind to in our relationship, and I feel like I've dodged a bullet.
Oh, please give us a list of what all
Right.
those were.
Luke, using real names because my posts were discovered.
She said, F you, Larry. Luke it is.
Gloves off. The gloves have officially been taken off. I'm sorry, but I love it.
I love it.
I'm
no,
sorry,
no, no.
but I
I
love it.
love it when they use, because my favorite ones are like using real names here, because F you, Luke.
Yeah, right. It's hey, Todd. Yeah, I'm Todd. Hey, Todd Smith. At 123 Drury Lane. Oh my God. So, is not taking the breakup well and has taken over from my father, constantly bothering me.
She can't get away.
Hey, if you're reading this, Luke, we're done. And I'm not changing my mind, so stop calling me, stop coming to the house, and stop sending me flowers.
Ooh.
Opie doesn't want him.
She doesn't want him, dude.
She doesn't want him. I'm moving on, and you should too. My sister Emma is still firmly on my side and has washed her hands of Janet, the stepmomster. Yeah, I said that. And they are not on speaking terms after my sister told everyone about Janet's affairs.
Oh, dude, what do we say on the show? What do we say on the show?
You lose them how you get them.
So I think since things have gotten around town, some things are going about.
Is
Janet.
she saying Janet's affairs as in like her mischievous activities, like attacking the sister, or like cheating affairs?
Cheating affairs, dude. I'm calling that cheating affairs.
Janet is still trying to save face by saying my sister is lying and telling everyone she can how we are just the worst and that we have treated her terrible over the years and trying to ruin her marriage. Don't think everyone is buying what she's saying. She has sent abusive messages to me and my sister, and we've bumped into her, and she's been screaming at us and threatening us.
Oh, yeah, definitely cheating affairs, dude.
Yeah, I think you're right. My sister's car had been keyed, and my store windows were smashed.
What the heck?
Arrest her. Arrest her.
Cameras, make sure if you don't have them. Arrest her, though. Arrest her. ASP.
Let's go. We can't prove it's her, unfortunately, but she is most likely the culprit. My half-siblings are definitely my dad's children. They tested them years ago when she was a baby. Oh,
wow.
I bet you they never trusted the husband never trusted her. We are just getting so many layers deeper. From what I've heard, they're not speaking to Janet at all. As for my dad, he seems to have grown a spine. No more wet toast for him. And has kicked out Janet, and she is now living with her parents.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't mean he's good.
No.
That just means he's like, don't cheat on me anymore.
Yeah,
which is ironic because that's literally what he did. But I digress. From what I've heard, he's thinking about divorce.
Wow.
I haven't had any contact with my dad except for a text saying he was sorry for everything. As for getting a restraining order, I'm more concerned about getting one against Janet. Honestly, Janet's been throwing hands. So yeah, that's probably a good call. Our last update. So let's dive in. Hi, everyone. It's been a while, and some of you have asked me for an update. So firstly, my dad and Janet are still together. They broke up for a while, but now they're back together and showing a united front, even though she's a cheater.
Oh, wow.
Apparently, they tried again for the sake of the kids, and that always works.
Yay.
Weirdly enough, me and my dad are in a better place. We occasionally text and are cordial when we see each other, but he has stopped pushing so hard for a relationship and respecting my space. We can now be in the same place and room without a scene and have had the occasional coffee together, which, to be fair, is all I ever wanted.
Okay, so maybe he finally respected her boundaries and gave it months before he came back again.
Maybe seeing Janet's insanity changed him, but he's still with her.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get that part.
Yeah.
Right here.
Hope he really keeps us on our toes.
Yeah, dude. She'll kind of do the right. She'll be directional on doing the right thing and then go too far.
And we're like, what?
She's cutting out the spleen and then gets into the lungs.
Exactly. He even gave me my college fund with no strings attached. Okay, still could be buying the relationship. So I'm still not. I'm still not there.
Oh yeah.
I'm still not there. My step siblings and I have started talking, and we follow each other on social media. And my stepsister comes to my business sometimes and helps out. Okay. I realized they were not at fault, and I was being unfair to them. They're still upset with their mom, but are stuck living with her. From what I can gather, they are giving her the silent treatment.
Ooh.
Okay, I guess maybe the kids. I don't know. I feel like the kids were brainwashed before, and now they're better. But that's the only explanation. They still were on the wrong side before. Yeah. I stand by that. As for Janet, I still hate her, but at least she's staying out of my business.
There we go.
I unfortunately could not get a restraining order due to lack of evidence. I avoid her and won't speak to her, and I think my dad has warned her. My sister is speaking to our dad again, but despises Janet and refuses to have anything to do with her, and is going out of her way to exclude her from everything she possibly can. Me and her have become much closer. By the way, you can become much closer to us by tapping our profile and joining our lives every single weekday at 3 p.m. PST, sometimes till very late in the evening, like it is right now. So there you go. As for Larry, we are not back together and never will be. Thank God.
Thank goodness. Okay. Make sure it's this way.
He has not fully accepted things, but has calmed down, and I'm not being harassed as much. He still wants to get back together, but I'm not interested. Him, his friends, and family will eventually accept this. He thinks because things are better with my dad and me, now I'll soften up and forgive him, but I just can't trust him. Big facts, girl.
Yep.
As for me, I started therapy, and I'm working through my issues.
Let's go.
I've realized the relationship with my dad wasn't purely his fault, and I share blame in this. I've spent my life acting like he abandoned me when I pushed him away as well. My business is doing well, and I'm just focusing on myself. Thank you all for the support.
All right.
Not a picture perfect, tidy little bow on it. However, I am overall the good outweighs the bad, I feel, in this scenario.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'm still confused on why she went back with the dad.
Not sure why she's back with the dad. Thank God she's drawn the line on Larry. Yeah. Thank God she's drawn the line on Janet.
Is it because they have a common enemy? That's Janet now? But you said she's still with her.
She's still, yeah, he's still, it would all make sense if he left her, if he stayed not being together with her, but then he went back. So that's super confusing to me.
Yeah.
But maybe better to be friends and have a good relationship than be at odds and have everyone harassing her all day. I guess maybe that's probably better. So, hey, if you can't beat him, join him.
I guess, dude. She got some money out of it. At least she got compensated for it.
That's true. Emotional damages being paid out. But ladies and gentlemen, that's enough emotional damage for you for today.
I've been with him for a decade, and now he repulses me. I'm a female 32, and my now ex-male 40 have been together just over a decade and have 3 kids together. From the beginning of our relationship, he cheated on me a lot with all of my close friends and anyone connected to us.
Sounds like a great dude.
Sounds like a nice guy.
Great start.
I was stupid enough to stick around, and honestly, there wasn't any signs or behaviors that showed he was anything but faithful and loving for about 2 years now, except for the beginning part. Well, yesterday I saw something pop up on one of his devices, and I spent all night thinking about it and ended up going through his phone. And you know what I say? When you go through someone's phone, better be prepared for the relationship to be over.
Yep.
Regardless of what you find or not. By the way, this comes from Deep Understanding 32 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit, and this is one of our own.
This is an r/OK Storytime
This
fan?
is r
Let's
slash,
go.
you know?
Mm.
Judge me all you want. I'm glad I did. I found out that when he goes to work, he works away. He has been meeting up with call girls and paying them for sloppy toppies or raw dogs. So roughly $200 to $500 each time.
Yo, is that expensive or is that
Well,
is
I
that
feel like that's
going price?
market rate.
Is that market? I don't think that's market rate.
I don't know. He could get it for free.
That's
He
true.
could get it for free, girl.
Market market rate for sloppy toppies gotta be like it can't be $500.
I don't know.
It's gotta be like yeah. Jellybus says it depends on the area. Any sex workers in the chat know what the
market rate is?
The market rate is.
I recently found out someone that I know used to be a spicy sleep worker and would for like $15.
She's underselling.
Yeah, that's what I said.
15?
$15. This is a while back in like the 90s or early 2000s.
Damn.
Not someone we know.
No, someone I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel like that's below market rate.
Yeah, definitely.
$15. That doesn't make sense.
Even with inflation.
Even with inflation.
No, this is back in the day.
I know, even with inflation.
Yeah, even in the 90s.
Yeah. I only went back a year before I stopped looking and saw he had been doing this the whole time. I think he meets them on Facebook dating. I can't be sure because I've seen that on his phone and I'm just connecting the dots. How gross is that? I'm actually repulsed. I also have seen well over 50 women on his Snapchat with daily
50?
chats. All schmexual.
Oh my God.
There were women who were having housing trouble. He was sending money to. Anything you can think of, this man was doing it.
Oh, wow. Really just helping the unhoused population. Like,
I hate him so much.
You gotta help where you can.
I'm so sorry to our OK fam.
What? You're sorry that he's putting people up in houses? He's helping people on the streets?
Yeah.
Have a more stable life?
Including hiring a girl to share around with his mates.
Ooh.
This man sucks so much.
He's just giving them free drinks?
Who I'm pretty sure have wives. Yes, we are broken up and I am sorting things out to move, but the reason I'm writing this is because I know there's some poor girl out there with a heart full of love to give, and there are men who you think will change and they will get the happy ever after. But respect yourself and your time. They are not worth the damage they will cause you in the long run. I held on to hope that never existed, and I know now that it was me seeing someone who wasn't there. Be better than me. You deserve it. Now I don't know what lies ahead for me, but I'm excited, scared, and I feel free. I will be free.
My God.
And that's the end of that story.
Oh. Emma Worm Queen's Knight says, I know a couple, they charge $300 an hour Canadian.
Damn.
Wow.
That's for two people.
Rate.
So 150.
Oh, I know I know a couple. Not I know a couple.
Oh. No, they charge.
What do they charge for 5
like
seconds?
I know a couple of spicy workers.
I don't know. I think
It's not a
Like, I
parent.
know
Emma
a
Worm
couple-
Queen's Knight, clarify.
No,
You know
I
a
think
couple of spicy sleep
Yeah.
workers that charge $300, or you know a pair,
No.
like a couple, like they're like a boyfriend girlfriend that charge $300 an hour
No.
Canadian.
Wrong.
Does it have to be an hour?
Yeah, can it be in 15 minutes?
Yeah. Can it be like a minute? It takes 45 seconds to take my clothes off.
I think my son is going to come out to me. How do I make sure it's perfect? And by the way, you can join us live every weekday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just tap our profile. So, Throwaway, hi gay, I'm dad, says, my son is gay. I knew when he was 5.
The way he walks and talks, I knew from when he was 5.
My wife claims she knew when he was 4.
Whoa, is this a competition?
We're fairly competitive with each other.
Oh, no way! How?
So I think she's trying to beat me. My family is leaning towards anti-LGBT. They don't hate them, but they like to comment on it. My wife's family doesn't really care. They're pretty accepting of anyone as long as you respect others. My son has tried his best to hide the whole gay thing. It's worked pretty well so far. He's had a few girlfriends and took his girlfriend at the time to prom.
At 5? Oh. Sorry. I thought he was still 5 right now.
No, he's no longer 5. We thought he might be bi, but he never got the same look on his face when he looked at a cute guy versus a cute girl. Him and his friend Dakota have been hanging out a lot recently. I think they're dating, but it's hard to tell. In the weeks leading up to June, my son has been acting stranger, and so far this month, he's still acting odd. I'm thinking with it being Pride Month, he wants to come out. I assume he's afraid to tell me because he thinks I have the same views as my family. I don't want to steal his moment and tell him I know, but I can tell something is wrong. I asked him if he wanted to go out for lunch later this week, and he turned me down. Do I just wait for him to tell me, or am I supposed to tell him I know? Should I make a joke about the fact that it's been obvious to me for the past 10 plus years, or is this a serious thing? I only want what's best for him, and if he is dating Dakota, he's doing pretty well for himself. And there are some comments and an update. I think that OP needs to, hopefully this is what they've been doing all his life, but I think OP needs to make it very clear that they're supportive of like queer people. I think that they have to just be like, oh my God, hey son, let's watch this new show, Heartstopper. I love this show.
Hey, there's a parade down the street.
Yeah, there's a parade. Do you want to check it out? I have a friend at work who's going. Yep. And just like be really intentional about, I don't know, just like start being really intentional
Put it outside
about
your house.
Yeah, about showing your support for the LGBT community. Maybe don't say I knew all this whole time. I think you could bring that up later, but I think when your kid comes out to you just saying like, thank you for telling me, I appreciate you being brave. And I think also a lot of times parents that, or just like in general, people who are maybe say that they are outwardly accepting will sometimes make comments and stuff or make jokes where like queer people are the butt of the joke and you don't even notice yourself doing it. And I think just being really aware and making sure that you're not doing that and that you are being just as supportive as you can. Comments though. Engineering Dry says, given that it's Pride Month, take the opportunity to show your son your acceptance and allyship by commenting positively on how great it is when people find love no matter their genders. Love is love. Mention how you don't understand how any parent could disown their kid for being gay since there's nothing wrong with loving someone else. Forfist74 says, and maybe mention a gay coworker and how cute he and his husband look on their wedding pictures. I wouldn't tell him outright that you know, because that's kind of taking away his coming out and stealing his thunder. Just make it as easy as possible by showing him that you're 100% supportive. Also, I would severely shut down your family whenever someone uses homosexuality as a slur. Every time you allow that to happen, it cuts a piece out of your son. Do you know Suzanne Brockman? She writes romance novels about Navy SEALs. Very hot. And at some point started adding gay characters and gay romantic subplots to her books. She said she knew her son was gay from the age of 5 too, and she sat down all her friends and told them that she never again wanted to hear any gay slur anywhere close to her family. And any friend who couldn't stick to that was welcome to leave forever. She didn't want her son to ever feel bad about himself, and when he came out to her as a teenager, she just said, I know that, I love you, I'll always love you, gave him a hug and a kiss, and then asked, where did you put your dirty socks? Just let him feel completely accepted and like it was the most normal thing in the world. That is what you should aim for. But there is an update. So let's get into it. The evening I posted, I spent a few hours reading and rereading the comments. I was trying to work up the courage to have the conversation with my son. Not because I was afraid of the answer, but scared I was going to say something wrong and damage our relationship. A lot of you gave me the courage to start a conversation. I decided it needed to happen that night or else I'd lose my nerve. As soon as I knocked on his door, my mind went blank. I asked him if anything was wrong and if he wanted to talk at all. I said I had noticed him acting differently over the past few weeks and wanted to make sure everything was all right. He said he was feeling a bit sick recently, and that was probably what I noticed. I didn't want to push too hard, but a lot of people said I needed to make sure he knows how I feel. I told him that if anything was wrong, I would hope he would talk to his mom and I. We love him and just want what's best for him. The Sunday after I posted was Father's Day. We did a family dinner, just the wife and kids. We did cake and presents, and after opening the gifts, I told the kids I love them. They are the best gifts a dad could ask for, and I'm so proud to be their dad. I told them I don't say it enough, but I want to make sure they know. This is really sweet. After dinner, my son came downstairs and asked if we could talk. He looked visibly nervous and his voice was shaking. He stumbled over his words before saying that he's gay. Ever since our daughter, his older sister, was born, my wife would say that she loved the kids so much she just wanted to squish them. My son started saying it back before hugging us as tightly as he could. It became a bit of a tradition that the tighter you hugged, the more you loved. When he told us he's gay, my wife and I nearly killed him with how tightly we squeezed him. We told him we loved him and we're proud to be his parents. That's so sweet. We ended up talking for about 2 hours about everything that's going on in his life. Him and Dakota have been seeing each other for a few months. In the middle of May, Dakota said that he loved him. My son wasn't ready to say it back, and Dakota didn't pressure him. He wanted us to know about Dakota before admitting that he's in love as well. He told us that Dakota was kicked out at 17 after he came out. When Dakota came out, he thought that they would be supportive, but they weren't. They kicked him out on graduation day, and he's been on his own since. He offered my son the spare room just in case the worst happened, and we did kick him out. Oh. We invited Dakota over for dinner to get to know him a bit better. He's a great guy and isn't afraid to help out. My son is really lucky to be dating him. My son is much happier version of his normal self. And my daughter's a bit upset that her brother found a boyfriend before she did. Obviously, she isn't serious. She really likes Dakota as well. Thank you again for all the help and advice. I'm glad I was given the push to check in with him. Hopefully other parents can learn from my mistakes and experience. I think this is definitely an excellent way of showing your support for your, and obviously OP did show support in a very real way that made his son feel comfortable to enough to come out to him. But I think this is a lesson for, OP even said it. I think that this is a lesson in that even if you are supportive of the queer community, you have to be very open about that, especially when you're parenting people or parenting kids, and just making sure that you are being loud about that support from day one so that your kids know that they will always be supported. But this is the end of that story. And again, it's the question of how do you show support for your queer friends and family. And I think just making sure that you are not making jokes about the queer community, that you are expressing your support and allyship from day one, and that you are calling out the people around you. Because I think also a lot of people are somewhat lenient when they hear people making jokes about queer people. And they're like, oh, I don't want to make this awkward or something. But I think that is also an important part of showing that you are an ally. I went on a trip the same day as my father's wedding. Am I the a-hole? This is OKOP, home to the craziest true stories on earth. I'm Sophia and Riley. What trip are you going on that is better than a wedding?
I'm gonna go on a family vacation with in Florida. That's in Florida.
That is fun. So Thrower A admin says, my 18 female father is going to marry his girlfriend next week, a day before my cousin's 21 female's birthday. My mother died 4 years ago, and almost 2 weeks later, I don't think it was even 2 weeks after that, my father was dating that woman.
No.
2 weeks after your mother's death?
Whoa. Whoa.
No. Absolutely not.
There's a rule given by Sam. And I know that his rules with marriage is very interesting.
Yeah.
But for every year you married someone, make that a month. You have to stay single for 16 months. I'm just saying that they stayed together during that. They may have had some time. Well, let's just assume 20 months.
Yeah.
You got to stay single for 20 months before you go out and date again.
Yeah. This just seems... this is outrageous.
That's
to not even
quickly.
wait 2 weeks before you start dating someone. It seems like there might have been something going on before.
It's a little bit like icebergs coming very closely. Like they're two big things, but they look like they're overlapping or touching. Was there an overlap?
Yeah, so I'm wondering, was there already an overlap in that relationship? I was grieving and I had to tolerate a total stranger in the house. My father told me that he had met the woman at work. The doubt that she has always been my father's mistress has been in my head, but I don't know. I don't like her anyways. My cousin organized a trip to the beach, which will last a week. It was given to her by my aunt and uncle because she won a scholarship overseas in college.
Oh, nice.
Nice. My aunt and uncle won't go to the wedding. Some of my other cousins won't go to the wedding to go to the trip too. My cousin arranged the trip entirely on purpose to ruin my father's wedding since my mother was her godmother. Petty.
Whoa.
Petty.
She's got some skin in the game here, too.
Oh, my God.
Oh.
My father was mad at her, but my cousin told him that she's not going to cancel her trip for a second wedding. Or in her words, I'm much more interested in seeing the grass grow than in your wedding. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. This cousin is out for blood. Yowza. Today, my father found out that I will be going to the trip too. He's totally mad at me. He even cried, telling me that everyone is punishing him for finding love. I asked him if my mother wasn't the love of his life then, and he kept crying, saying that I don't understand because I'm too young. He says that every time I try to talk about something serious with him, even when I want to talk about politics or something important, it's his way of shutting me up. And he just finally found love. His words, he said his girlfriend is the real love of his life. Good for him, I guess. My mother always said he was the love of her life until the last day. And because of his words, my mother was never the love of his life. I think I feel sad to think about how my mother would feel if she could hear my father say that he finally found real love, when in my mother's eyes and words, he was her soulmate. Aw. Can you really find the love of your life in 2 weeks? I understand that grief is different for everyone, but who grieves spending Christmas with your new girlfriend and not with your daughter who lost her mother? So he neglected me since then, even though I was a teenager. Everything was always about how he feels and wants.
Oh.
That's so sad. I can't believe he didn't spend Christmas with his daughter.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Just lost her mother. Wow. I told him that I will go on the trip and I don't want to attend his wedding, and he kept crying. My paternal grandmother called me to pray and tell me that I'm being unfair to my father who just found love again, but I just don't want to go or be near him. I stopped being close to my dad a long time ago, and my perception of what a father figure has been almost totally erased from my mind.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, there is an edit, but yeah. Like, he does not deserve anyone to be at this wedding.
It's so hard to switch from your mother is my soulmate.
Yeah.
I love your mother so much to immediately saying, I found the love of my life.
Well, I think that's what the mom had said about him. I think the mom was like, he's my soulmate, even like till her death. And I don't know if he necessarily said that. All we know is that after she died, he was like, oh, this is my actual love of my life.
Yeah.
It wasn't your mom. Yeah. There's an edit. My parents didn't have an open marriage or anything like that. My mother wouldn't have thought twice before divorcing him if he hinted something like that, because she was always 100% traditional woman in relationship topics. I remember her disgust about those topics. Haha. My mother always made it clear that she would divorce if she thought the marriage was bad. She was always totally open with me about those issues, even personal matters, as we had too much trust in each other. So I'm sure that in her eyes, she had a healthy and normal marriage. We were all shocked with the fact that my father introduced his girlfriend when we were all grieving. It's something no one understands to this day. Info, my mother died really quickly from a virus/bacteria. She died within a month and a few days, and no one expected her to die. Not even my mother expected her health to get like this. She believed to the last day that she would live. The person who took the most care of her in the hospital was my grandmother. There are some additional comments.
That's the crazy part, because if it was like...
He wasn't even taking care of her?
Yeah, like it's been years of her mom not doing well. He's taking care of her. He's getting tired of it. He seeks, usually if someone's like pregnant or has cancer, they should have a partner on the side.
Yeah.
But a month out of nowhere?
A month? Yeah. That's also not even enough time for him. Like, not to say that this would be okay either, but like we hear stories about people who are dealing with these like long-term illnesses, and then the husband or the partner like grows out of love or like loses that, like you've already grieved over the course of those years.
Yeah.
And then, at the end they fall into a new relationship soon after, but which is also like not great either. But this is literally a month. Prior to this was, healthy, presumably healthy, long marriage. And then after literally a month, he just gets with a new person.
That's insane to me.
That's crazy.
Oh.
No. But there are some additional. What?
My conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
there was an overlap.
I think there was 100% an overlap.
'Cause
I think, yeah.
They worked together, right?
Did they?
That's what he said. He met her through work.
Yeah. No, that's just so suspicious. Because, like, also, why else would this woman have, if they worked together, she presumably would have heard about him losing his wife.
Yeah, and like to be smart, I mean, I know a relationship can get pretty fast in 2 weeks, but you gotta your brain's fully developed, my guy. Your
Come on.
wife just died.
You have a daughter.
Play it a little bit. Be like 3 months later.
Yeah.
At least play 3 months if
I
you're gonna
have
do
this
this.
new girlfriend. Yeah.
Do that. Not
two
2 weeks.
Less than 2 weeks.
Everyone's grieving. Come on, dog.
Yeah. So
It might be his messed up way of coping.
compassion, apparently. But there are some additional comments from OP in response. Relevant comments. Tight lips. Oh, thick hips, tight lips. Not the a-hole. Do what you want. If you don't respect the relationship, why would you want to go anyways? Besides, I get the feeling this woman was involved with your dad before your mom passed. Because who the F moves someone in 2 weeks after their wife dies? A cheater. That's who. He's just mad that everyone sees through his BS. I wouldn't go either. OP responds, she didn't move into the house instantly, but she went every day and stayed overnight. It was really uncomfortable. I always suspected that she was my father's mistress, but I never asked because my father would deny it anyway. And Rough Single says, gosh, he abandoned you when you were 14 years old to spend Christmas with his new girlfriend right after you lost your mother. And mind you, his wife, not the a-hole, but he sure is. OP says, when Christmas came, he decided to go on a trip with his girlfriend without even inviting me because I never liked Christmas anyways. I spent that Christmas with my mother's family. 2 weeks after his...
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
What the?
He's a horrible person.
Oh,
And there is an update.
that's insane.
Oh my God.
I could not imagine
I can't imagine that.
having Christmas with someone that's not my family.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
that
this
your
is their family, but like
but, like,
not
with-
my immediate family after losing my mother.
That's whack. That's what I meant. But that's whack.
So selfish of him.
Oh,
Wow. There is an update. Hopefully it gets better.
better.
Hopefully they have a really
How?
fun time on their trip. That's what I'm hoping for. Oh, thanks to the comments that day, I decided to talk with my father and ask him if he cheated on my mother. Wow. I got really anxious and just needed to know the truth because it was something that made me feel really nervous. After insisting and hearing him cry, he confessed to me that he had been talking and going to places with his girlfriend/friend for a while my mother was still alive and even before she got sick. My mother didn't know that my father had that kind of relationship and it was all behind her back.
Oh,
Wow.
there
He sucks.
was an overlap.
He sucks. The audacity to not only have like to cheat on your wife. Yeah, to cheat on your wife, period, but to continue the relationship after she died.
That's so crazy.
Absolutely wild.
It was just like convenient for you that
Yeah.
she died. I wonder what his freaking mindset was while she was like sick.
Yeah.
Was he like, oh, hopefully she dies?
Yeah, hopefully she stays like, like, oh my God.
Oh. Do you think like she
Horrible.
helped her a lot, or do you think he kind of like half-assed it
I
too?
don't know. I don't know because it seems like the grandma helped the most.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he seems like a horrible person.
Ugh.
When my mother died, his girlfriend at the time approached him to comfort him. He didn't say exactly when, but I guess that obviously it was between those 2 weeks. I want to think it wasn't the day my mom passed away because it was unexpected and we were all too busy. Ugh. My father told me that it was the first time they had physical contact, but he always felt guilty about his friendship with that woman. As you should. It
So it's
doesn't
just
matter
a
if you felt freaking guilty.
Friendship, so
Yeah. Quote unquote friendship. But
so
emotional cheating.
emotional cheating, taking away the
Yeah.
physical side.
Yeah.
Still, golly.
Still so bad. I'm not very familiar with the subject, but I think it's what people call emotional cheating. Yeah.
Mhm.
I only know that he kept it a secret because he knew he was doing something bad. I asked him if he and my mother were having marital problems, and he said no, not at all. According to my father, his friendship with his girlfriend was something he planned to keep as a secret forever when my mother was alive and healthy. Weird. Father told me that he thought he loved my mother until he kissed his girlfriend and decided that we only live once. So that's why he took her home just 2 weeks later after my mom died and did everything he wanted with her. My father's logic was that his job gave him a week of mourning, so according to him, 2 weeks was enough mourning for me. No. Absolutely not. Just because your work gives you that time off doesn't mean that like you have to put a, oh my God.
That's insane.
No. Oh my, I just can't believe that he took this woman into their home where his daughter was actively grieving the loss of her mother. Wow.
Right?
What was he thinking?
He wasn't thinking.
He wasn't thinking. He was just
wasn't.
thinking about, being with this new relationship.
And I guess like once he kissed her, he was like, "Oh, I effed up," but
yeah,
conveniently, I can make this happen.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
Oh.
I told him that while he fulfilled his fantasies, I was alone in her home, and he kept saying that. And he kept saying the same things like, OP, you were almost 15 years old. You were already a woman at your age. I was already working, blah, blah, blah. I don't think I'll ever get to that level of maturity to understand his mind.
No.
Also, didn't they establish at the beginning of the story that when she tried to bring up serious topics, he was like, you're too young to understand?
Yeah, that's true. Like politics or anything like that.
Hypocrisy? He's like, oh, you were old enough at 15 to like get over the death of your mother 2 weeks later.
Yeah, and then the maturity thing. Sounds like he keeps bringing up like you're mature enough right now to handle that, but she's a 15-year-old girl.
15-year-old.
Her mom just died.
Yeah. But at like, how old is she now? Do we know?
18.
But at 18, she's too young to like talk about this. I asked him if he thought about cutting off contact with his girlfriend if my mother found out, and he said something like, no, I wouldn't cut contact with his girlfriend's name. It was just an innocent secret, and your mother never found out. I told him my mother would cut off his balls if she heard him say that, and he started crying again. Oh my God, brutal. Jesus. But anyway, all of this doesn't change anything. The result is still the same. A father who neglected his daughter.
Oof.
100%. I said a lot of things to him. I've been going to the psychologist for years, so I know how to manage my feelings. But at that moment, I told him everything I've been keeping to myself, and he cried again. Isn't that weird? Cry when you're the one who screwed up. I only feel bad for my mother and myself. For now, I warned him that I'm going to rent the house to make money and cut off contact with him when he leaves the house with his girlfriend. He didn't complain about that because at least he had always agreed that the house is mine. I'm not going to leave him homeless or anything like that. I'm not going to his wedding. I'm not going to invite him to my wedding in the future. I don't care if my future kids don't have a grandparent or anything like that. I think years ago I lost both parents, but luckily I have my family. That's good. At least they're the cousins. I see myself as a person who had to mature quickly. My mother left me in charge of my father, but my father maybe decided to bury his paternal instinct next to my mother, or maybe he never had one. He was always a regular father, so I don't care if I don't see him again. Yeah. I don't feel anything for my father's girlfriend, but I just don't like her because I would never date a man who neglected his daughter. And she's going to marry a man like that. Anyways, we never argued. I don't hate her at all. I hope she's my father's final real love. Yeah. There are people who commented saying that I was making my father look bad on purpose and that I was probably a brat who has had bad behavior just because I'm a teen and my mom died. Even if that was true, that's so warranted.
Yeah, she's valid for that.
She was a teen and her mom died and her dad wasn't like around.
That's, yeah.
Come on. Who's saying that? I'm going to fight him.
Red pill Reddit.
Yeah. I don't understand what kind of education those people had, but being a teenager doesn't mean that we let ourselves be carried away by our feelings. Sometimes a minor can speak much calmer and in control than an adult, and that doesn't mean that I want to play myself as a saint. I really don't know where I went wrong for my father to prefer to forget that he has a daughter. I don't know what I could have done wrong. Maybe the key was to yell at him and make a tantrum to get his attention, as some comments said, but I stopped caring a long time ago.
You didn't do anything wrong.
You did nothing wrong. Absolutely not. And there are some top comments, but no, that is not at all your fault. Your father is a horrible father.
It's interesting that she thinks that because a lot of parents, if their kids don't turn out to be the person they want them to be, they're like, what did I do wrong? What could I have done differently? But it's the daughter now thinking.
Yeah. Well, she had to take on kind of like a parental role.
Yeah.
Of like her own childhood. Yeah.
She had to raise herself
Yeah. But there are some top comments. Mustang 1967 says, I'm sorry for your hurt and pain. Make sure you keep going to therapy, but it will never help you understand why. The other woman knew what she was doing, and so did your father. Learn to move on, and one day maybe you can forgive to help. Maybe you can forgive to help yourself heal. Significant Cat 3 said, yeah, that was definitely an emotional affair, and your father was crying because some part of him knows he's wrong and that he cheated and was neglectful. I'll never know how someone can be with a cheater who is also a neglectful parent. Wow.
Wow.
Why? Why?
It's tough. The friendship part, the fact that he was going to keep it under wraps for a very long time.
No, it was so obviously like emotionally cheating on his wife. The fact that he had to keep it a secret was the first indicator that it was a bad idea.
That he's going to keep it a secret for the rest of his life. Oh, but he said he kissed her, and he was like, "That's the love of my life."
I don't know if he kissed her. I think he might have kissed her after I think he kissed her after the mom's death. Yeah, still horrible.
Yeah,
bad dad. Really bad dad.
Yeah, it's funny how different cultures, like in Japan, I think you can physically cheat, but it's more morally wrong to emotionally cheat than physically cheat. While here in America, it's more morally wrong to physically cheat than emotionally cheat, because I feel like a lot of people aren't aware of what emotional cheating looks like, or how that. I mean, some people consider both of them equally wrong.
I would say they're both equally wrong, but I understand what you're saying. Like American culture, it's like, oh, well, they were just flirting, or they were just
they were just talking. Yeah, but like they hooked up.
Yeah. No, they're both equally damaging to a relationship.
Facts.
Yeah, but you know what's not equally damaging?
What's that?
This next story.
Let's go.
How do I, 24 male, get my dad, 52 male, to realize his wife, 38, is not my mom, and to quit pressing a relationship? And there are some juicy updates into this. So let's get into it. So my mom passed when I was 14. Dang. I was always closer with her than my dad, so I took it very hard and still missed her every day. My dad moved on extremely quickly. How quickly is too quickly?
We've said there was a rule we made.
Yeah, there was a rule. It's a month for every year of marriage.
Yeah.
So you had, all right. So in this marriage, at least probably 14 years if they were married like a little bit before their child.
Yeah. So 14 months at least.
14 months at least.
Like,
all right.
That's still kind of.
April
really
Hendricks
short.
says within a year is fine. But I'm talking 1.5 months later. Bro, man moved quick.
He couldn't even wait for 2 rent bills.
Yeah. And he was openly dating his current wife. I suspect he was cheating on my mom. She moved in 4 months after my mom's death. Then 9 months after her death, they announced their engagement on my birthday as one of my gifts.
You're joking.
Yeah, it's a great gift. Giving someone else a ring.
This poor 14-year-old kid is trying to grieve, and you go on the one day he's like, you know what? Maybe I'll get a little bit of sunshine today. I'll just try to enjoy it. And they're like, hey, we're taking this woman and making her your mom now. Aren't you happy?
Great. Yeah, love that. Love that. Not. So I obviously didn't take that well. Made a scene, dumped the cake they got me, and walked out.
Oh my god!
But what kind of gift is saying we're married?
I'm sorry. That's
like
okay.
That's like proposing at someone else's wedding.
Literally,
you know, it's like stealing the wedding thunder.
Honestly, this is so much worse. This is a child who's grieving the loss of his mother.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that because I
got you a new mom.
I'm giving the kid the pass because I'm like, yeah,
best present possible.
Stop.
So I disappeared for a few days until they were about to put out a missing person / runaway report, and I was forced to go back. They tried to get rid of all evidence of my mom, pictures, personal effects, memories, and others. I kept what I could and hid some others. So basically, OP is trying to preserve the memory of their mom because the dad and the new girlfriend are just taking it away.
Sam, I think we got to enter a
red flag
segment because what kind of you're coming in to be a stepmom, right? And you think that going to this person, the husband and the kid, and being like, oh, hey, let's announce it. You think that's good for this child? Do you think you're going to be a good? No. Red flag on you as a stepmom. Red flag on you as a wife. All the red flags.
They're like trying to just brush the past under the rug.
100%.
And like, but not even the past, like the memory of someone. Like you can't just bury someone's memory, especially for a child.
A green flag would have been, hey, we have this. Let's say they didn't cheat. Like, hey, we have this thing kind of burgeoning, but I don't want to. You're still grieving. Your child's still grieving. Let's like really take our time. Like that would have been the green flag, but
they did not take their time. They announced it on her birthday.
Gotta love it.
So bad. So
except you can't.
They tried to force me to call her, dad's wife, mom. I never did. They would ignore me when I called her by her name. She would introduce herself as my mom. I would correct her every time. It got to the point that I stopped talking to her unless absolutely necessary or if I was correcting her. These talks were usually one-word answers.
Wow.
My dad got angry every time I didn't call her mom, use her first name, or introduce her as dad's wife. I once spent 2 weeks not talking to either of them when I was 16 because I was ruining their family dynamic. And quote, until I can be part of the family, there was nothing to say or do as one. They caved at about the 15th day of no communication/interaction. Wait, so they didn't talk to her either, which is super childish.
I think they went to OP and they're like, we're not even going to talk to you.
We're not talking to you. Silent treatment. Talk to the hand because the wife and your mom and your dad are not listening.
Are you kidding me? This is
so bad. Yeah. Jesse C says, this is crazy. I'm a widow of 3 years with 2 kids. I can't even imagine this. I am with the other commenter saying they were having an affair. Yeah, I think so.
Totally.
And Shin Stuff says, dad is such an asshole. Heather Marquet says, red flag for the dad. Janelle says, a month and a half is way too early. Gutter Wave says, gross. Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
That's pretty disgusting.
Fair.
I can't believe they would do that. I turned 18 and left for uni and went extremely low contact and didn't go back. When I was 21, I got engaged to my fiance. She knows about my relationship with my dad and his wife. She suspects it and is on my side. So I guess suspects that
cheating.
Yeah. They didn't know I was seeing anyone. My dad's wife posted on social media saying she was excited that her son, me, was getting married with a bunch of other things, saying she can't wait until she becomes a grandma. I made a short post saying, I am not and never was her son, and she won't be a grandma to any future kids. The fire. The fire.
Talk your talk, OP.
Oh my
Come
goodness.
on.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's intense.
That's a public blast.
That's a public blast for sure.
Buckshot.
Also, like, I feel if this stepmom wants to be called mom, the way to go about it is not to force it. It has to naturally happen.
Are you kidding? Like, you can't make someone call you mommy.
I mean,
you can't make someone call you mommy. Can't do it.
Put mommies in the chat.
Dang it.
So OP was like, I'm not going to engage this. I wrote that short post. My dad got mad saying I was disrespecting my mother and embarrassed her. I asked who we were talking about because my only mother was real only bio gave me life mom. And at this point, I lost both of my parents on that day when I was 14. Wow. Also, thanks for the mommies in the chat, guys.
Yeah. John, reword that, please. I'm sorry, but no.
That was 3 years ago. And we went back to low/no contact. So like 3 years ago when OP's getting married, or like has the fiance, they like make that Facebook post, and then OP's like, I can't take any of this. I'm going low/no contact.
Yeah.
But my wife is about 8 months pregnant. And they showed up to my house. I never gave them my address. They wanted to talk and meet my wife. I didn't let them in and said to turn around and go back to where they came from.
Oh my God.
I want to know what y'all would do. Would you let them in, or would you say, go back to where you came from? Put your answers in the chat.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one.
That's a tough one to do.
I mean, I might let my dad in, but I wouldn't let mommy in.
Honestly, I feel like I would probably let them in, but I also haven't lived through this experience.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really like blame OP, but me personally, I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I would.
It's hard to say.
I don't like the whole forcing of the momminess.
It's always like I show up at the house, so you kind of can't refuse me, but but I hope you can. You know?
But
yeah,
kiss this door, baby. But apparently, they decided they wanted to move to my city/state to be closer and repair the relationship between us. So they're moving.
Oh my goodness.
She said she missed her son and wanted to be a better mom and grandma.
Gee, what a way to go about it.
I called them delusional and told them to leave and slam the door. They bought a house about 5 minutes away from us.
No.
Oh my God.
5 minutes?
5 minutes, dude. Dude, get a freaking hint, y'all. Get a hint.
That's really bad.
Get a hint. This has all been way too much for me, and my therapist wants me to let them in, but I would rather cut all contact. It wouldn't be so bad if they just would stop trying to replace my mom and act like she never existed. I honestly don't know much about my dad's wife. I don't even know if I know who my dad is anymore. My wife is struggling to support me emotionally and doesn't know how to help. Please, internet strangers, how do I convince them, dad and my wife's, she is not and will never be my mom? And there is a quick edit and a juicy, thick update. I'll read the quick edit and then I kind of want to break down everything.
Yeah.
So about my therapist, he said I should try to express my true feelings toward them in a non-hostile and threatening manner. Do it in a way that is constructive but gets to the point. Learn more about what my dad and his wife want and get to the root of who they are and how they feel about the situation. But I'm going to find a better therapist.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't know if I like this therapist advice. So, I mean, what would you do? How would you communicate to this, I don't know, these people that are so insistent for years that they want to have like some kind of relationship that doesn't, I don't know, you don't want to have.
I think over 7 years, sorry, because it's from 14 to 21 at least.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, we're getting on a decade of mommy forcing.
Mommy forcing.
Not good.
Sounds like a new category.
Oh, goodness gracious. So Angela Gatlin, and I saw also someone else comment this before, restraining order.
Yeah.
That is the...
I feel like that is the resolution without any like emotional resolution, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a resolution for you so you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah.
But like, will it get at the root of the problem? Maybe.
Yes.
It could.
Yeah.
It could. Like just getting them out of your lives. It's like, hey, I don't want you in my life. How can I be any more clear? So it could.
Sarah Radoff has a good one. So explain to her that she made your grieving process harder. She did not respect his pain, and because of her actions, he cannot ever see her in a motherly way. Explain that she hasn't even tried to be his friend.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really true. Well, I think maybe what you can do, like taking the advice of the therapist, is explain in a very calm and empathetic way, like what kind of Sarah said, and sit down with them. But then like say like, I don't want a relationship with you, and this is why.
Yeah. Like,
they might not accept it though. So maybe you have to go restraining order after that.
Yeah, I get it's like, hey, give them, because I guess their relationship has almost been this kind of cat and mouse of like, hey, let me be your mom, blah, blah. And then OP's like, no, everything you do is so crazy. You never give me a chance to grieve. Other list of things that you've done to me. Like, I'm not even going to entertain this. So if you gave it one sit down, it's like, all right, you need to come to this sit down and listen because I'm going to break it all down for you. If you don't get it after that.
And maybe there's a way, maybe OP can have some stipulations of like, this is the relationship that I'd want to have with you.
Yeah.
Right? Like these are the terms of it. If you can't agree to the terms, then I don't want anything to do with you.
And on the flip side of the coin, I understand OP being like, now OP is having to do all this work of like, okay, I'll sit down, I'll like break it all down for you. I'll unload my emotional baggage to help you try to understand.
Nincompoops to understand, yeah.
And when it's like, I just want to live my freaking life. I just want to
I feel like the restraining order might be the easiest.
It might be. It just might be.
Yeah. I don't know. Has anyone gotten a restraining order? And like, how effective are those?
Yeah.
Like, are they super effective?
I guess
I would love to know.
Someone to court, but
yeah, you could take someone to court, but Garbage TM says then when they break the restraining order,
so Garbage TM first said you don't have to do a restraining order since those are harder to do. The true easy way would be to start with a cease and desist, since those are written intent, and then use that to build a no contact.
Okay.
Interesting. And then, where was it? And then when they break that, you get a restraining order. So I guess that's easier.
And then Heather Marquette says, not effective at all. It's a piece of paper. Janelle says, unfortunately, they're not as effective as they should be.
Right.
That you, a fellow, says they can walk through a restraining order, but it all depends on the person and if they want to press charges. So it seems like, I mean, that communicates a message of like, don't talk to me, but it may not be as effective in practice.
Yeah, it's not a force field.
It's not a force field.
Yeah.
So we need some of those Dune force fields.
That would be great.
Yeah, dude. Riley and I were watching Dune earlier this week.
Nice.
And, dude, Dune's amazing.
I fell asleep.
I also fell asleep. All right. So here is the big, fat, juicy update.
All right, let's do it.
So, hello all. Thank you for your comments and feedback. I did read them all. I couldn't reply. So, for those who said I must be fake because of lack of reply/updates, the post got so much attention that it was locked in 24 hours. I do have a life with work and an 8-month pregnant queen that I have the privilege of calling my wife that took priority. I love how Reddit's like, you didn't answer in 3 minutes. Fake! AI! My wife, me, and our unborn child are doing good overall. My wife is over being pregnant at this point. Our child should be here in the coming weeks. I did find a new therapist. I called to cancel the rest of my appointments on the books, and he did not take that well. So I have put in a complaint. I met with my new one, and I like her a lot better. I feel like I'm actually being heard and actually getting the help I need. I want to make this clear. I am 24. My dad's wife is 38, 14 years older than me. My dad is 52, 14 years older than his wife. So when she entered my life, I was 14 and she was 28. Bro,
Yeah.
I feel like the dad was 100% cheating.
Yeah. Totally.
Right?
Totally.
Right? Like,
Which
I
is
don't
so
know.
crazy. His wife was literally dying.
Yeah. But that is when people cheat most. People cheat most
We
when
have found
people are in the hospital and when people are pregnant. So just, I guess, beware.
I better not get pregnant.
There were also theories about how my dad might have had something to do with my mom's death. That is not the case. Oh, wow, dude, Reddit is going crazy. But I still believe they were together before she passed. I am investing in a security system, but it will be a few weeks until they can install it. But for now, we have a doorbell cam and some cheaper cameras. Now, on to social media. Since the post about her being excited about being a grandma, how my wife and I getting engaged, we have locked down all social media. My wife and I are not active on any platforms anymore except for messaging or sharing pictures. And I guess also to millions on Reddit.
Hello.
Hello there, OP. We found the leak as well. It is my brother-in-law. So the leak, I guess, of how the parents found OP.
Right. And the baby and everything. Oh,
Wife's
man.
sister's husband. We had a family dinner where we had planned on working on the birthday plan. Brother-in-law was insistent on being there, which was odd as he was not part of it to begin with. While we were waiting for my mother-in-law to get home, I shared what happened between my dad and how it made me/my wife feel. Brother-in-law got visibly uncomfortable. When I called him out on it, he denied, but it was obvious. Sister-in-law called him out and he broke down. He said he had been talking with them because we need all the family support we can get, and they should know their grandbaby. This caused an argument. It ended with sister-in-law moving out and staying with us. They have no kids and have had some issues.
Whoa.
I think it is over for them, and I will never trust him.
Oh my God. Another relationship destroyed.
Imploding. Wow.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sheesh.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Sky Nicholson says, "Sir, mind your business." I mean, for sure. What are you doing meddling?
Like, why?
I wonder if like the father and the father's wife coerced, or not coerced, but like we're talking in his ear, making him like
Recruiting
emotionally
him.
sabotaging him
Yeah.
to do their bidding.
Join
Their evil
the
bidding.
family Death Eaters to take over. Yeah, and it's so crazy because he's the brother-in-law. He's not even related by blood. So it's like, what are you talking about? We need all the family. They're not even your family.
Yeah.
If we want to get really technical.
And also, like, yes, family is great and family can help a lot.
Yeah.
But if you if you hate them, then it's not helpful
It's
for them
not
to be
helpful.
around.
It doesn't do anything
It's literally
good.
emotionally taxing for them to be around.
What are we doing here?
Yeah, we're doing the wrong thing. Our birthing plan has been locked down and secure, made a day later without brother-in-law. But we have some just in case of crazier showing up plans. Everyone who needs to know the plan/details knows about the birth.
Right.
Now, it is surprisingly hard to get a protection order. Where I live, it is heavily dependent on violence or physical contact. Technically, what they have done is not against the law yet. They are perceived as no real danger at this time since there were no threats made and they left when asked to. They have free will to move wherever they want. Also, since a family member gave another family member my address, it is fair game. So it sounds like they didn't violate anything that would constitute needing a restraining order.
Right.
In regards to grandparents' rights, it is only when my wife and I have lost custody or are unable to care for them, but my mother-in-law and father-in-law will be taking on that role if needed. So basically, like, I think it's like a godparent kind of situation.
Right.
My wife and I are not in a position to move. We just bought our house when interest rates were low, and my in-laws helped the down payment. It is nothing massive, but it is home and perfect for our starter family, which is annoying because the OP's dad and his wife are now around the corner, 5 minutes away.
And to uproot your whole life, like, it's
not
a lot.
worth it.
It's
Not worth it. My dad and his wife are unable / shouldn't have kids. I don't know from what side made it impossible. So that may be why the constant pressure to like be involved in the kid's life. I did write my dad a letter summing up why I want no contact. That's good. I feel like that's kind of what we wanted.
Yeah.
We wanted some like emotional breakdown of why I'm uninterested in this.
Letter's smart too, because it's like it's not as much burden on OP, but it's still like, hey, I'm going to break it down for you so there's no ambiguity. You understand.
Yeah, you understand exactly what you did wrong and why. So, how I feel about what he did, how his wife is not my mom and never will be. If I feel like giving them a chance, it is on my / my family's terms. So this was what was in the letter. Specify that my family is me, my wife, and any possible children moving forward. They are not to talk to my wife or I at any time unless it is through our lawyer. He can decide what information to pass on. They are not welcome around us at any point, including our house, school, daycare, social gatherings, birthdays, Christmases, barbecues, etc. As well as in public, we are strangers. Keep space and act like we don't exist. If they break this, they will get a follow-up letter up to and including a protection order. The OP's going really hard to the paint.
Yes.
But probably needed at this point.
I mean, you have all of this time, like basically your formative young adult years, like this they've kind of showed them who they are, and why keep going?
Miriam from YouTube says the dad is such a bystander. Like, I'm surprised the dad isn't enforcing what OP wants, like what his child wants, and instead choosing his wife over.
It seems like from the jump, because very early he was like, start calling her mom. He was standing behind the new wife and just letting her, probably she's like, we're doing this. And he's like, okay,
yes,
screw my son. Let's do it. You know? So
I feel like he's probably being totally controlled by the wife.
Yes.
Completely controlled. Yeah. Not a good look. Not a good look. The letter was quite long. Our lawyer looked it over and my wife and I signed it. Then he signed it as well as it is being notarized. And then we made legal copies for all our records. My lawyer went with a private delivery service and hand delivered it to him with a signature of received goods, plus video evidence as well. So far, so good on that end. I'm now focused on my wife and soon to be child. I hope I'm ready. I know how not to be a father, so there is that. Thanks for all of your input. Is there anything else I should do or think of to protect the family? I would love to know from you guys what you think, but there is a thick update. Thick update. So there's more, but what do you think OP should do? Stella Davis says the dad didn't deserve OP's mom.
100%.
Agreed.
100%.
Yeah, not like, I mean, the dad is like has no spine.
No.
To just like completely bend over to what his like new wife wants.
Yeah.
It's kind of whack.
It's kind of very, very bad. Like especially from 14 right after the mom passed away. Like that's the most sad.
Yeah. Literally giving no, giving no time for OP to really grieve.
None.
You know? But we'll read a little bit of comments before we get into this thick, juicy update. Also, to everyone here, thank you for coming to a live. We're just kind of getting used to this. This whole live will be, once it's done, it'll go for members only. So if you want to support the channel, go subscribe to our members only so you can get access to all our lives after it's done. These episodes also will come out on the regular feed, but if you want like the unedited live versions, please support our members only channel. It really helps with just making the show better and better. The Raven says, John, your hair is so luscious and pretty today.
Thank you, the Raven.
It's the conditioner. Yeah, Janelle, it's on YouTube if you guys want to subscribe.
YouTube.
Stella Davis says, apart from everyone changing names and making Step Monster think they move with an elaborate ruse, I can't think of anything. Yeah. I mean, getting Zaymara Garcia says like getting cameras. I feel like extra security.
Oh, which it sounds like OP's on, and they're working on that, right? With the several weeks for the new camera setup.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good move. But shall we get into the final updates?
Let's do it.
In the weeks leading up to my wife giving birth, things were stressful. I ended up having my first panic attack. Yay.
Oof.
That was not fun. My wife helped me through that one. Brother-in-law tried to apologize and get back with my sister-in-law, but effed up that by trying to explain himself again on how he was in the right by reconnecting my parents and my family. After that, their divorce has been moving quickly.
There we go.
I love this little side story. That could be a whole Reddit story in itself.
Truly.
Yeah, I want that one. Yeah, that would be great. So my wife giving birth was an amazing experience for me. The moment I held my child for the first time amazed me. How can I love something so tiny and who I just met so much so quickly? Both baby and my wife are doing really well. My wife started saying she feels like a cow. I'm not sure how to make her stop, but she keeps randomly mooing at me. That's actually really cute.
You know they have a good sense of humor and a good vibe together.
Yeah, that's out there. My dad and his wife tried to show up at the hospital. Yikes.
Oh, gosh.
Still not sure how they found us or knew where we were, but staff blocked them and covered for us. Like a bunch of you said, we would start running into them randomly around town, mainly grocery shopping stores, even if I drove out of my way. We would sometimes bump into one or both of them. I have an okay story time about bumping into people that you maybe don't want contact with all the time.
Uh-oh. Okay.
We would sometimes bump into one or both of them. Law enforcement still says they are not doing anything against the law and don't seem dangerous / malicious. We did our best to ignore them or stay home or have a family member get the item. My therapist has sure earned her paycheck the last few months. My lawyer is trying their best, but the laws I feel are against us. Innocent until proven guilty, or in this case, nothing is dangerous until after it is. Or hurry up and wait until something bad happens, and then we might do something. It's super frustrating. Also, we moved. Now I never want to do that again. Good family helps. But with a newborn and crazy people around, it was stressful. I know it doesn't sound possible, and I'm still in disbelief, but my in-laws are amazing and got us in contact with a friend of theirs. Long story short, these friends wanted to downsize since all of their kids moved out, told the in-laws, and brought them over. We ended up coming up with a really good deal. Our new home is bigger on more land, but needs a lot of work. Still baby friendly though. It is old and outdated, but we have been making it ours. We are not rich by any stretch of the imagination. We have a good network around us. I'm still doing 99% of the work to the house of myself. Sister-in-law moved in to help make it possible. Since moving, we have not seen my dad or his wife.
Wow.
That was until 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I was going to update and did write all of the above then. Since my lawyer contacted me saying my dad reached out and wanted to talk, I tried to say hard pass, but they advised me by saying, I think it would be in your best interest. We set up a date and a time in public. Okay, so we're meeting with the dad one-on-one, which is what some of you guys said that OP should do in the first place.
Yeah.
Meet one-on-one. 3 days later, at a coffee shop, we met up. Even though we were early, they were waiting for us. It was just my wife and I, also a paralegal from my lawyer's office undercover. I could see the disappointment in their eyes that our child did not come with us because they wanted to see the kid.
What do you expect?
It started awkward at first. They started some small BS talk, but I just said, what do you want?
Yep.
Well, my dad's health is not well and is going downhill steadily. May have 2-ish years at most. They showed scans, doctor's notes, tests, and other items to prove it. Okay.
Wait, yeah.
Really quick, pause, breakdown here. Would this change anything for you? So if like you were going no contact with family, they wronged you in some way, but your dad is saying like, basically, I'm on my deathbed. Does this change anything?
I think you still say like, I will give you a chance now, but that doesn't mean that you can continue to do what you've done in the past. The second you continue to start doing that, especially with, the new child, like you have to recognize, maybe use that as maybe not an ultimatum, but like recognize what I've been telling you this whole time, that you didn't let me grieve and that you brought in this new mom and that was all wrong.
Yeah.
And
also maybe it's just separating them, like in terms of like, hey, I want a relationship with you, Dad. I don't want a relationship with her.
That's a great point.
And so I'm happy to have you visit, but I do not want her. I don't want a relationship with her. She's not my mom. I've never had a relationship with her. She's always forced this like title of motherhood on me that I never wanted. And she's tried to systematically erase my real mom, the mom that passed away when I was 14.
Dude, can't do it.
I don't know. I want to know what you guys think. We'll read some of the comments. So Jem says, have the dad explain how it happened so fast. Yeah.
I cheated.
Clean.
That's how it happened.
Janelle says, if he keeps stepmonster-in-law away from him and his family only, I think that's a really good stipulation.
Yeah.
Heather Marquette says, I want to say no, but I know I would try to make something work. I mean, if your dad's dying, like I feel like emotions would get there.
Totally.
But Pinky D Slayer says, they still can't see my child. I'll come see them, but not my child. Mindy Wilder says, I don't know. The dad picked the stepmom over his son time and time again, so I might not. So yeah, I mean, I think you can try to have it on your terms, but 100%. Ultimately it's up to the dad to say what he wants. But let's get
Big Protein. We looking good?
Oh yeah, we're looking good.
Beautiful.
I just had a conspiracy theory.
What's your conspiracy theory, Riley?
Okay, so have you guys ever seen Community?
Yes.
Okay, you know
TV
whenever what's the old guy's name?
Chevy Chase, Pierce.
Yeah, Pierce.
Yep.
He would fake a heart attack. Do you think he like figured out how to Photoshop all this stuff and is like?
So you think the dad is faking?
Yeah.
That thought definitely crossed my mind.
Yeah, I think he's faking it all. I don't think it's real.
Well, let's see.
That's a good conspiracy theory.
Let's check.
Back to reality.
Back to reality, baby. I was quiet the entire time they talked, and all I could think about is, that sucks for him. It was like getting news that someone you knew of when you were a child died or is sick, like a neighbor or an old babysitter. For me, no real emotion or feelings because I feel like I didn't have a real connection with them. My wife knew I was irritated and tried to silently calm me down. When they were done, I said something to the effect, I'm sorry this happened to you. I hope you get better. Then I got up and walked out. There's more. What do you think of OP? 2 stone cold? Put 2 stone cold or he got what he deserved in the comments. Put one of those. 2 stone cold or got what he deserved. What do you think?
2 stone cold for me. Like
2 stone cold for you?
I don't know if I would be able to do that. But now, mind you, just a few minutes ago, I was like, I think there would have to be all these stipulations to even let, and if the dad didn't go with them, then don't bring him back into life. But I don't think I would go that hard. But what about
I don't
you?
think I would go that hard either.
Yeah.
But we also haven't like experienced the
exactly.
like the 10 years of like systemic familial issues of OP trying probably. And just, I mean, there's obviously there's a lot of pain that is built up over these years and possibly too much pain to even try to bridge a relationship, even at this point, even on his deathbed.
Not to super psychoanalyze, and everyone take this with a grain of salt, but you know how they say like, oh, when something traumatic happens, you stay with that problem at the age that it happened.
Yeah.
Like, what if there's still like kind of 14-year-old angst?
There probably is.
There, you know?
There probably
like,
is.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see there being. Linda Collins says my subconscious would have not coped. Dennis Brenberg Bra says deserved. Mindy Wilder says 50-50. I want to know why you're 50-50 on it. Scarlet Wood says he'll probably regret it no matter what he does. I mean, yeah, would OP regret it if his father did actually pass away? Maybe.
Yeah.
I think generally, I mean, like, I think it's generally a pretty well-known thing that holding a grudge is usually regrettable, even if it's against people that wronged you.
It's like you forgive for yourself, not even for the other person.
Not for him, but holding that is hurtful to you.
Yes.
But also so is this person, right? Like the sad is actively hurtful for you.
Yeah.
So maybe holding on to the memory of it is less painful than dealing with it in the present.
I wonder how they are responding now. If they're still like, "Call me mom."
Call me mom. Yeah, yeah.
Are they still saying?
And if they're still doing that, then like I don't think there's any hope of a relationship.
No hope.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think OP should try to make any kinds of meds? Ashley Perkis says forgive but never forget. I think that. But what does that look like? What does that look like? What does forgiving and never forgetting look like in the context of a relationship with this father? But I would love to know your answers. Put your answers in the comments. But we're going to keep going. His wife opened her mouth and said something like, "That's it? That's all you have to say? You owe it to him."
Uh-oh.
I didn't let her finish and went off on them. I said everything that I had been saying in my head for years. A practice monologue I started when I was a teen. Highlights include, but are not limited to, how he owed me more than anything, how he ruined any type of relationship the moment he started thinking with his dick, when he tried to erase my real and only mom, neglect, abuse, over-punishment, the works. Then I finished with my real mother, died when I was 14. Pretend I did as well, because that is when my dad, became dead to me.
Oh, wow. OP was ready.
Damn.
That was the monologue. That was the rehearsed speech.
I'm getting like shivers.
Yeah, same.
What a
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps. What a monologue.
Wow.
Now, looking back, I find it in a way funny that my 5'4" wife was holding back a 6', 200+ guy, but they kind of looked like fish opening and closing their mouth. My wife then escorted me away. When we got in the car, I had my second panic attack. But since, things have been quiet, but still fresh. I'm struggling, but working through it. When my wife notices me zoning, she hands me our child, and things get better.
Aww.
Love that.
Sorry for the long read. If you are still here, I hope you have a wonderful day, and may your life be blessed.
Wow.
What? Wow. How do we feel about how it ended? How do we feel about like OP saying everything that he wanted to say all these years? Like, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think it is ultimately good. Like, I don't know if they ever truly got the repercussion, got the justice for the crime committed. Maybe they did in terms of OP like cutting them out, but I do think it is good for them to hear it in its purest, most raw and unfiltered way. Maybe OP probably already said this in the letter too. We don't know exactly what was said there. But I don't know if I would have.
I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I just can't but it's also hard for me to even imagine because I love my parents. I love my dad.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to imagine someone caught like my parent causing that much hurt to where I'm ready to do this. But obviously OP has felt that.
I'm glad they heard it.
Ready for OP. That's the best thing for OP to do.
Yeah, it's a tough time to share that, but I'm glad they heard it, but maybe not at that time, I guess.
And Angelica Gatlin says he needed to say it, cathartic. Brittany Welty says OP needed that. He held onto those feelings for so long. Melojested46 says, Lil, I don't think the dad and stepmom are going to reach out again. I don't know. They haven't gotten a hit yet.
Pretty persistent.
They've been very persistent.
They're gonna start breaking in now.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Show me the baby.
Yeah, dude. I mean, hopefully they take the hint now. Okay, story time. So about like moving into, so we like in this last story, basically what happened is the parents moved into OP's neighborhood and they would like run into each other, like at random times. So my ex-girlfriend moved 7 blocks away from me.
It's true.
And I run into her all the time, like multiple times a month, sometimes multiple times a week.
Right.
And it definitely doesn't help the healing of a breakup.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
So I can understand OP not wanting the parents to be in the same city.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because it's just like when you live in a small area, it like you run into each other.
That is
at
so
the grocery store. And I have a run that I run every day.
Yeah.
And like she also runs that run sometimes.
Yeah, it's so much in common, including the what's your philosophy on like how to engage for like, or if someone's in a similar situation.
I just say so
advice.
like I mean, I think like I just tried. I'm like friendly, but I'm friendly, but I'm like not short, but I'm friendly, but I'm like moving quickly. So I'll just say like, "Hey, how's it going? Nice to see you," and then I'll like blip on over.
That's smart.
So it's not like a stop and like really dive in. But you know what y'all can do? If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe.
Yes.
Make sure to support us on memberships if you want to see this live.
That's right.
Forever and ever. And also just tell us what you want. We know we listen to the comments. We read like a lot of them. So we really appreciate everyone coming into Live Day.
That's right.
My long lost daughter showed up at my doorstep, and now I have to decide if I should take her in as her father. Am I the ass or maybe not doing that?
Hi, dads.
When I, male 32, was a teenager, I dated a girl, Kay. One day, Kay broke up with me out of the blue with no explanation.
My heart.
Fast forward 15-ish years later, the police showed up at my apartment. Long story short, Kay was pregnant with my kid 15 years ago. She got charged with a bunch of drug charges, and when they asked if her daughter could go to any family, she said, I was the dad.
I mean, it's true, ain't it?
It's true, but maybe. Well, after a paternity test, I do have a 15-year-old daughter with Kay.
There it is.
So my daughter is going to come live with me today. I'm not a dad, quote unquote. I don't have kids or a significant other, just dogs. So I'm pretty clueless when it comes to being a dad or taking care of a kid, especially one who's a teenager. And also it's like, it's different if you were suddenly a dad and it's like, hey, you have to take care of this baby. Because at least you're starting from like zero.
Right.
But now it's just like you're shoving this hormone-filled half human into your life. And it's just like, well, I haven't gone through all the other stages of dad. And it's like you're just like putting it on level 15 in hard mode, expecting this guy to like go crazy with it. Like,
I also loved how you described her as like an angsty centaur, a hormone raging half human.
after talking with her social worker, she says Kay was neglectful to my daughter and isn't going to be used to being taken care of or having structure, which will be a big adjustment for her. So basically, this child has been roaming free, galloping the plains for the last 15 years without someone to tell her yay or nay.
God damn it, he got me.
The social worker says I need to be patient with her and just show her love and support even if she doesn't want it. I have a room all ready for her in my apartment. It's pretty basic because I didn't want to overwhelm her. So yeah, she's coming today, just hoping for some support, maybe some tips. So we don't usually do this on the show. We don't like read the comments from the commenters, but I decided like so many people have asked for it. So we're going to read some comments. So commenter, start by talking to her. Let her know you're here for her. Get to know her and then support her interests and hobbies. Let her decide how she wants to decorate decorate her room. It's a bit more work starting from the middle like you are, which I totally said. It's starting on hard mode, dude.
Yeah.
Because
Angsty Centaur.
Angsty Centaur. Because you weren't there to learn who she was as she was figuring it out herself. Make the environment safe and welcoming to her and give her the privacy she needs. She's not in a position where she needs someone to come down hard on her. She's in a position she needs someone that she knows she can turn to no matter what is wrong.
Yeah.
And OP says, I met her twice. Definitely more difficult starting from the middle. It would have been a lot easier with a little kid or baby. I know this is a big adjustment for us both, so I'm not going to try to go all strict dad on her. It's more about support, I think. And then we have another commenter giving some advice. So, holy hell, welcome to the club in the craziest way possible, I guess.
Truly.
And also, we are going to get into another update, but we just want to read because like OP is interacting with the commenters, kind of figuring out his strategy towards parenting. First things first, this is from the commenter. I can tell you that you're probably not going to want to do this alone. You're going to want as many other people on your team as possible. This is going to be a huge adjustment for both of you. The difference is she's coming into it with half as much life experience and no base support at all. Don't try to take this alone. Second, if I were to put myself in your shoes, I'd say that the one thing I try to remember over everything else is empathy. It's going to be tough, but think about everything this kid has been through. Also, remember that this is your chance to be what sounds like the first positive influence on this kid's life, which is so true. Like OP has a chance to like do some really good here.
For real.
You could honestly be the difference between whether this girl's life goes in a positive direction or a negative one. I know that's not exactly fair to you and it's a ton of pressure, but this is your chance to step up and do what may end up being one of the most important things you've ever done in your life. That's the role of a dad in a nutshell, really. You're the person who's going to model what a man should be. You'll mess it up, it'll be tough, and sometimes you'll feel like a complete failure, but if you show up, care, and support her as best you can, you'll be okay. Good luck, man. You can do it. And OP responds, damn, that's a lot of pressure. My parents definitely plan on helping out a lot, and I have a few close friends who are willing to help out too. I want to be a good role model for her because she deserves that.
That's a great point. Like you're coming into this blind. It's like, yo, parents, yo, you raised somebody, yo, me, yo, friend. Could you hop in? Like, I think it's good. He's like tapping his community to be like, yo, I need support in this because this is kind of
this is the hardest thing I'm ever gonna have to do.
Pretty wild.
Yeah, and then there's like stuff talking about like menstrual supplies, which he says his mom is going to help out with. And then another commenter says, definitely avoid drinking substances if you enjoy it. And OP says, yeah, I occasionally drank and I figured it would be best to stop doing that for a little while because of everything with her mom. I am honestly both nervous but excited to be part of her life. I never thought I would start being a dad to a 15-year-old instead of a baby, but I'm happy to have her, honestly, even if I don't know what I'm doing. But things so far aren't too bad and going relatively well. And now on for the update. So she has been through a lot from what I can tell. She's very underweight and not used to having consistent meals. I put a snack bin in her room so she hopefully doesn't feel the need to hide food, at least stuff that isn't supposed to be left out. I told her she could get food from the kitchen whenever she wanted, but that seemed to overwhelm her a bit, so now it's the snack bin. I also have breakfast and dinner, lunch on weekends at a consistent time, so she just knows a meal is going to happen. She also has nightmares and screams. Of course, she hasn't told me what they're about. I don't expect her to yet, but whatever it was traumatic for her. So I'm in the process of finding a therapist for her, that's freaking awesome.
That's fantastic.
For some more positive things, I got her to open up enough to find some things about her. Firstly, she loves my dogs and we took them on a walk together. She's smart, loves to read, and she likes to play basketball. I of course told her some stuff about me. She's pretty quiet and reserved. I expected her to not really be open with me considering I am a stranger to her, but things so far aren't too bad and going relatively well. It's now September 19th, 2023, which is not that long ago.
No.
It's like last month.
My goodness. Real time.
Things have been going pretty good so far.
Okay.
Today, she was sitting in the kitchen doing homework, and once she finished, she started playing with my dogs, but she left a few papers out after putting the rest away, and I asked what those are, and she said, oh, some test I had to take this week. I asked if I could see them, and she said, sure, and had gotten A's on 3 tests, chemistry, history, and geometry, after being at school for less than 2 weeks.
Oh, hey, come on now.
Let's go. He's got a
Nice.
Smartie on his hands. I was honestly very impressed, not because I don't think she's not smart, but because she just started at a new school and is having a big life adjustment. I told her that was amazing and ended up going on about how I didn't care about the school aspect of school and just cared about sports and friends. She said, I enjoy learning and reading and it helps me get away from life.
Wow, what a great escape. Your grades.
Then it hit me that it was her way of escaping from the assumingly not good life with her mom and focused lost her mind in something else like learning and reading. And honestly, it makes me really sad to think about. And then some commenters say, celebrate the wins, Dad. Showing encouragement and interest in her academic success talent will only help her treat it as a positive gift rather than an escape. And OP says, I could tell she's not used to getting encouraged or at least told good job because she kept saying, yeah, it's no big deal. OP says to another commenter, I honestly feel lucky to have her in mine as well. She's a good kid, just been through a lot, which even though I don't know the details of, it makes me sad knowing she had to go through tough things at such a young age. And then to another one says, I know that this will be really difficult, but I know it's because she's not used to being cared about or just having more overall life stability and will want to see what she can get away with possibly. And now, September 19th, 2023, daughter broke my heart.
Oh, what?
So earlier we were out to eat because I didn't feel like cooking and I found out my daughter has never had tacos. So we went out for tacos and we were having a very casual conversation until a mother with two daughters, I would say both girls under 10, came in and you could just tell the girls were having fun with their mom and all three clearly loved each other. Well, my daughter got quiet and just kept staring at them. I didn't want to pry, so I kept quiet. She didn't say anything until randomly on the drive home, she said, sometimes it's hard seeing girls have a good relationship with their mom. I get jealous because my mom and I never did. Then she started crying and let me know she wanted to be left alone the rest of the night. It was hard to see her crying and upset. It's also difficult to know that even though I'm now around in my daughter's life and I'm trying to be a good parent, she still spent the first 15 years of her life not having a good relationship with her mom. And I can't fix that. I wish I could, but I can't.
Yeah.
Which sucks because she didn't deserve to be neglected and possibly abused. I'm just in my feelings and really sad. And a commenter said, it's amazing that she already is so open with you. You must be doing something right. Keep it up, Dad. And OP says, she just randomly will say stuff, then shut out for like a few hours and not talk. I don't know if it's because she feels safe, but then feels weird about talking how she feels or what it is. And then another commenter says, I've been following the updates. How has your relationship been going? How have you been doing? And OP says, I definitely feel like I've grown attached despite living a very different life compared to before having my daughter around and having to change really fast. I can tell she's a good kid. Seems like she has big goals, but I can also tell she has her guard up constantly by how she carries herself and how she acts. We mostly talk about dogs, basketball, and football. I'd shared stuff about me and she's shared what she wants about herself. Another commenter says, give her a big hug and be there for her. OP says she actually hates hugs or being touched in general. Luckily, I didn't find that out the hard way, but from her social worker, but that was just another sign of abuse. And then another commenter says, just wanted to say, I have a 16, almost 17-year-old daughter. Our situations are different, but from what I can somewhat tell, their moms are the same. My daughter's mom was an absolute deadbeat drug addict who only appeared in her life when it was time to go to court and try to screw things up. Long story short, I have full custody of her since she was around 10. My daughter feels the same way as your daughter does. In fact, my daughter goes into some pretty dark places whenever she thinks about her mom or whenever the mom tries to communicate with her. If she's having trouble or issues, I generally know it's because that side of the family is at it again. I'm just posting to say, I understand and it sucks, but don't be discouraged. Yes, you might have missed out on the earlier years, but you guys have a lifetime to establish a good bond. And as someone who has both younger and older kids, there are some really cool things that you get to do with your older kids that you can't do with them while they are young, or they will enjoy much more as an older kid. And OP says, I'm sorry about your daughter's mom. I can tell my daughter's mom is a very touchy subject for my daughter. Thank you. I'm going to try and make up for the years of not being around. I did explain I didn't know about her, and that's why I wasn't around. It wasn't about me making that choice. And I kind of think that's where things are now. I think that's the end.
Man, I hope we get an update in the future on how things are going.
I think that's it.
Well, one thing is clear. OP is the angel in this scenario.
Oh, yeah.
My goodness.
It's awesome that OP is like stepping up to the plate and actually seems like he's really caring and getting advice from like the Reddit community. That's pretty sick.
Yeah. Good, solid advice. Everything we heard was actually great.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, dude, shout out to this guy. And hopefully, you know, like we said, like it's a lot to step into and a lot to figure out. And also, kind of great that, I mean, his daughter sounds like amazing, like great in school, like seems to want to
better herself
and is kind of like using academia and like other like positive things as a means of escape, which is fantastic.
Which is amazing. Yeah. So I hope things continue to go well for OP.
Big question is, everyone watching, What would you do if your long lost child of 15 years
showed up at your doorstep? Yeah.
What do you do? That's the question.
But yeah, I mean, I think OP is like being the best dad that he can. Like that's pretty awesome.
Huge shout out to OP.
Mm-hmm.
The man, the myth, the legend.
But yeah, let us know what you would do if your daughter showed up at your doorstep.
That's right. Speaking of which, I got something I'm going to drop on your doorstep, Sam.
A big old dookie?
A big old story.
Let's go. My brother calls me dad, and I refuse to tell him the ugly truth.
I'm not your puppy.
Am I the asshole?
You know, there could be potential beauty.
Let's see if it's beauty or ugliness.
I choose love.
I was born when my parents were both 19, and my only other brother, let's call him Josh, was born when they were 42.
Wow.
23 years later. Wow. They divorced shortly after Josh was introduced to the world. He was 4 months old at that time, and they both wanted nothing to do with the child. All of a sudden, this second kid pops out, and they're like, nah.
Oh my gosh.
That's sad, dude. At the time, I was 23 and I was living alone with my then girlfriend, who was 21, and she's now my wife.
There we go.
And I had done my best to convince at least one of them to take care of young Josh for his sake and for family's sake. But they refused adamantly and said that I should be taking custody of him instead.
What?
Hey, it was your actions that produced Josh.
I did not do this. It wasn't me.
So I became legal guardian of my brother, and he's been living with us for the past 12 years, and things have been going really smoothly for us.
Wow.
OP, way to step up.
Shout out, OP.
Holy shit.
You're
like
awesome.
Your parents are scumbags, but obviously you didn't inherit their terrible way of interacting with the world.
Big heart for you, OP.
Josh, now almost 13, has been calling me dad, and my wife, mom, and our 2 children, 4 female, 9 male, his siblings, and he has absolutely no idea about his real parents. And to be honest, I let all of that slide.
Whoa. So
He doesn't know the truth.
he doesn't know
Doesn't
the truth.
know the truth. He has no idea that I'm really his blood brother and not his father. And I'm starting to feel guilty and a little weird.
Oh, man.
And on one hand, you want to be truthful and honest about this whole situation. And on the other hand, it's a 12-year-old kid that views you as the father.
Oh, I feel for you, OP. It's a tough one.
Some of my uncles and aunts come to visit occasionally, and they are really disgusted at the fact he calls me dad, and they are surprised that I haven't told him the truth. Disgusted? Okay, first of all, when you adopt a kid, or however you acquire the baby, whatever, what does that baby call you?
Parental guardian unit.
No, it calls it dad and mom.
It calls you daddy.
Father. Oh my God.
calls it daddy. So how is this any different?
OP is the dad. In my
OP is the dad.
Raise the child as a child's father.
Being dad isn't biological. Being dad is a responsibility that you take on.
Yeah, speaking truth.
They constantly message me, talk to me in private, and I cannot chat to them without this one particular topic rising up, badgering me to let him know already, but I refused. I discussed this with my wife, and she thought it would be wrong to tell him the truth because none of my parents wanted to take care of him, and I'm the only person in the world who gave him the father figure everyone deserves. I feel that he has the right to know what he is to me and what I truly am to him, but he's suffered enough already, and I just want things to continue how it is. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Would I be the asshole if I let him know the truth? And there is a juicy update
Oh man.
coming around the corner. But this is really hard. This is a difficult situation.
It really is. If there's one thing OP is not the a-hole. OP is the angel.
Oh yeah,
in
for
this
taking care of
scenario.
a kid that your parents decided to discard. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing other than you being the best person.
Yes.
But the question is, at what age and at what time do
Yeah.
you tell the truth?
feel like honestly, like maybe like close to what?
Look at that giant ass mosquito, bruh.
I personally, my gut is saying kind of like close to college graduation age because
College graduation.
I think the early adult development might have been a lot tougher. Whereas like you have a few years of adult, not just full child development, but adult development as well under your belt. And so you can handle a little bit more.
I'm thinking 16,
Yeah.
right? 16 and say, hey, this is a situation. But at 16, you could wash away or like support as he's dealing with this knowledge. I've just got up to discuss this with my wife. And now, after a lot of hesitation, we've decided that it's best the truth comes from us and it has to come now.
Wow.
I went to my local therapist and told him about my situation and asked what to do. To keep it short, he said he's heard similar accounts from before and said it is best to tell him as soon as possible for multiple reasons, and to make sure that my biological children are present for multiple reasons. I asked a few of my closest friends and the majority said more or less the same thing. My wife and I decided to sit the kids down and burst the big bubble. I'm like curious what the reason is to have the kids there too.
I mean, I definitely see telling the kids at some point.
I asked my brother Josh to come closer, and I made sure I held him close and made him feel comfortable. He asked, "What's going on?" But I started by telling us how much we cared and loved for him, then told him everything about my parents. I put them in a bright light in hopes of a reunion and who I am to him, then quickly hugged him and my other two kids together and told him that I love all my children the same and nothing is going to change my love for him. He was shocked and asked if I was joking, but I was starting to cry a little at this point, so he knew I was serious. My biological children were very surprised too. He was in tears and asked me why I didn't tell him sooner. I didn't know what to say and said, "I was just trying to protect you. I'm sorry, and I hope you can forgive me." But unfortunately, and understandably, he left.
Wow.
He didn't talk to me as much, again, understandably so, but I continually offered him to go out to the park and play a bit of football. He loves that and all his favorite things, but he just outright declined and even got a little angry sometimes for me even talking to him.
It's the angst, the uncertainty, like that is
It's also just a big load of information
it's just
to
a
deal
big
with.
load of information to deal with, yeah, especially like right after, you know.
I thought I messed up big time until one day while my wife and two children were out doing shopping and we were alone, he came up to me and said, "I know you're not my real father, but I want to let you know you're the best dad in the whole world. Sorry for before."
Riley, are we gonna cry in this episode? Is that what you're doing to us? He's saying yes.
I'm gonna cry.
He's saying yes.
I hugged him and things got pretty emotional. It would be a big lie to say my house is normal now. Far from that. But things are slowly, ever so slowly, starting to brighten up. There's no longer anything to hide anymore. And it feels like we are being born again. Josh is a tough kid, and he handled this far better than I believed he would. I'll be looking into therapy for him to help him recover just in case it doesn't go well in the long run. I'll strive and continue to be a great dad to my kids and a great dad to my brother's son. Thank you, Reddit, for pushing me towards this happy ending. Thank you for all the advice and judgments I got, excluding the rude ones about my uncles and aunts. Eek. I love you all, and good night.
Okay, hold on. Just my goodness, for a beautiful happy ending.
That was so cute.
Oh,
I was getting a little teary-eyed.
Yeah, dude.
Getting a little teary-eyed. So I guess we were both wrong in then saying that you should wait until he was like older.
You know what I was also thinking as we were after getting into the update was like, if you actually tell him really young and help him understand like from an early age. There was actually a great example in the long solo episode I did, which thanks you guys for the nice comments there. The father, it was not his biological child as well, and then the kid found out at 4 or 5 or something like that. So someone on Reddit gave this amazing suggestion. She had a teddy that was with her at all times. So he had her build a Lego teddy, and he built a Lego version of her, right? So she kept asking like, "Oh, do you still love me? You didn't make me." Then he was like, "Hey, do you love your Lego teddy more than your actual teddy?" She's like, "No, I love my actual teddy the most. That's my teddy." And then he's like, "Well, that's the same thing. I just made this Lego version of you, but that doesn't mean I love the Lego version. I love you because you're my daughter." And then it like clicked for her.
That's
dude,
so
it's hit me
cute.
again. Dude, Riley, you're gonna make us cry in this episode. This is good. It's good. Tears are good. But yeah, man, beautiful ways of true angels and heroes connecting with their children that are not related by blood, but they are their children.
They are their children. Being a parent, it is a hat that you put on, a responsibility that you take on. It is not biology, which, I think these parents, the original, actual biological parents proved. It's like they didn't take on that responsibility. And so OP stepped up and did. And that's what makes him a parent.
Absolutely right. Well, Sam and everyone watching, grab a tissue because I got another one for you.
Another tearjerker. All right, let's get into it. My son won $100,000 in the lottery, and I stole every penny. Am I the asshole?
So this is payback. Oh,
This is payback.
Oh, literally, he's owed so much more.
Yeah, dude, 100K is light work.
What a deal. I'm doing you such a favor.
Yeah, you know what else is
Ooh.
doing me a favor? Me and my Bali girlfriend
Yes.
separated today.
Yep.
We spent a beautiful 4 days together.
That's right.
Miss her. I have a wife, Wilhelma, 40, and 2 sons, Sam, 17, and Scott, 16. 6 years ago, I ran the gas station to buy some cigarettes. Instead of abandoning my family, just a joke, I decided to also buy a lottery ticket for everyone, just for fun. It was a blast. We all talked all night about what we would do with our winnings, where we would go, etc. I mean, this was all fantasy anyway, right?
That's what we think, man.
Yeah, and everyone knows the fantasy always turns into reality and then leaves you. And it does. But I specifically told my kids that they would have to share their winnings and they would have to put it away for college, first and foremost. Well, wouldn't you know it, Sam's ticket won. Of course, it's actually my ticket and I had to claim it. It didn't win the jackpot, but after taxes, we walked away with $60,000. I sat them both down and explained that I was going to save it all for college, but we could celebrate/splurge a little. They absolutely wanted a gaming system, and Wilhelma insisted on a family vacation that was much needed. We all agreed on this and are saving the rest.
That's a brilliant plan.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
most people, their lives are messed up by the lottery. So
Yeah, you want to save most of it, and get a vacation sounds nice. Just don't meet the love of your life here, and then let her leave you the next couple days.
how did I know that was coming?
I bought a gaming system and a bunch of games for about $1,000. Wilhelma took over the vacation and insisted on a Disney World trip. The boys don't even like Disney, but it's always Wilhelma's dream to go, so we went. Another $5,000. Last year, Sam wanted a car. Wilhelma was pretty tired of chauffeuring them around anyway, so I agreed and spent his $4K on another car. I pay insurance, registration, and maintenance under the agreement that he takes over driving Scott to his stuff and as well. Wilhelma had no complaints about any of these purchases. Everyone's happy.
Everyone's looking good.
Since day one, I've actually invested the entire winnings and never dipped into it. I've always spent my own money on all this stuff. I've invested better than average. And that 60K is now 100K.
Hey, Mr. Moneybags over here.
Bags,
Yeah.
man. Improving his life.
That's right.
Only I was winning instead of losing. Wilhelma knows I've always invested our money, but a small amount since we're poor. She knows I was investing the lottery winnings as well. I've always told her about the money doing well, but I guess I never explicitly said how well. She also has never asked, as she has left our finances completely up to me. Sam is starting college in a few weeks, and we figured out a plan to stretch his 30K over the 4 years. While looking at the portfolio, Wilhelma noticed it was 100K and asked how. I told her I invested 60K and it grew to 100K. She then asked why we're only giving Sam 30K when it should be 50K. I said, no, the other 40K is mine. I managed this account. I made the investments. I did all the work. Plus, I paid for all the other stuff through our other savings. The 40K stays and I'll keep investing it. If the boys need money, it's there. But if not, I'm going to eventually retire a little early with it. She thinks I'm stealing his money since I wouldn't have been able to invest with it if I didn't have it to begin with. I say it's always kind of been my money to begin with, and I'm still giving him 30K. I promised him since the beginning. So am I the a-hole for keeping that leftover cash?
Yeah, I mean, he bought it. So
but he bought it and gifted it.
Right.
So I think as soon as you gift something, it's theirs. And let me tell you this, John.
Yeah.
all right?
Okay. All right. Hit me.
So Yeah, you buy everyone here a lottery ticket.
Yep.
Right? You're like, hey, went out. Want to get everyone a lottery ticket. You give it to each one of us. Riley wins $1 million.
Oh, yes.
Are you saying, Riley, that actually wasn't a real gift. That $1 million is mine.
Oh, 100%. No, I'm just kidding. I think the difference here is it's family. And the kid was 17.
I think like, a kid that young, you might like just blow it all immediately.
Yes.
Like throw caution to the wind, invest your
100%.
heart in someone that's just going to leave. You're like, where am I? What am I doing here?
Of course.
Is any of this matter?
Sam met this girl. In case you haven't heard.
Yeah.
Well, here's the question. Is OP the a-hole for keeping it? I say no.
I say no. Like protect Sam from making a dumb decision that he'll regret later.
100%. And it's also their retirement.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, wife, why are you fucking up our bag? Like,
Exactly. Like
keep
we
this
know
money.
better. Like don't go and throw your, life into anyone that will
Oh my God.
give it. Like my parents were like, Sam, just focus on yourself. Be really, really tend to your wishes and and understand who you are.
Yes.
Don't just go falling for any Australian girl that comes your way.
Well,
Let's get into this next story. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments.
My father tried to ruin my wedding, but karma has been on my side.
LFG karma.
I met my wonderful husband on a blind date, and our romance moved very fast. Our relationship was not physical, since we were saving spicy sleep for marriage.
Okay.
And so kissing and hugging was all we did. Our ages were 25 female and 35 male, and we just knew what we wanted. By the way, this comes from user oldenergy8941 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I had always struggled with my parents. We were very, very close, but my deepest feelings and hopes were often hidden from them. I now know that I parented my own parents more than they parented me, that my father is a narcissist and my mother enables him as his own victim. If you've ever seen Disney's Tangled, you have a great idea of what my childhood was like as their only daughter.
Oh, no.
Mother.
Oh, no.
So when I approached them and told them, 1, that I found the man that I wanted to marry, and 2, I wanted them to meet him so they could get to know him, things got very complicated very fast. My parents were shocked that I would consider getting married so quickly and were immediately angry that I would be so stubborn as to not end the relationship because they wanted me to. You found love in a hopeless place. They put off meeting my now husband for weeks, attempting to slow my relationship down, hoping that I would hold our relationship on hold until they met him. I refused and just went out with him more, dreaming together about the future. This surprised them, since normally I didn't resist them. My father became obsessed about my virginity. Weird.
He's gonna sacrifice you?
Yeah. The narcissism became so narcissistic.
You're still a
down to
virgin,
the-
right? Okay, we can still put you in the volcano. Good.
Yeah, like
Woo!
you're still my daughter.
Woo!
Insisting I come home before 10 p.m. and critiquing my clothes that I had always worn as being too revealing and gaudy.
Dude, she's 25, dude. She's an adult. Is she still living at home? That might have something to do with it.
I don't think so.
I would like to know this information.
Again, I refused. I found out they were spying on me using my phone's location. I caught them once following us. That's a perfect time for you to like, hey, these are my parents. Since I still lived, she does. Since I still lived with my parents, it was hard to feel free to live my life. And I tried to communicate this. In response, my mother and father both agreed that I was just so immature and naive, and that I needed to slow down, and what was the rush? There was no rush. We weren't hurrying, but we were also seeing each other every day for many hours, just enjoying ourselves. Every day for at least 6 hours a day, we were enjoying ourselves, literally living together without living in the same house.
Oh, wow.
It was beautiful.
Every day?
OP just needs to get out.
Yeah, move in.
Also, I was 25. I can legally do what I want.
That's right, girl.
You can legally get out of that house. I think that's what you need to do first. They finally agreed to meet him. However, by this time, we were engaged. Having decided that we weren't going to put our lives on hold for other people. Knowing how they felt, I decided we would tell them right away. If what they wanted was time, then I would let them adjust as things happened. So when we told them, I wasn't sure how they would respond. I don't think it's going to be a very good response.
Not going to be good.
They were polite and congratulated my husband. Then he left, and they went off like atom bombs. Wow, didn't see that one coming. Apparently, my dad had always dreamed of my future husband coming and asking permission, asking their advice on a ring, and then surprising me with a staged engagement with a photographer and the works. My father also raged that when I was a child, I had signed a purity document that he would need to approve of my husband and that I had broken my promise. What the actual hell?
All right, we'll see it. Where's it at?
I'm sorry, what age were you? You probably didn't even know what that meant.
Where's it at, dude? Let me read that real quick.
This was signed before I was even a teenager. In my opinion, you can't hold an adult to a promise they made when they were a child. These parents suck.
Yeah.
I was so confused because our family is traditionally not traditional, and none of those things had ever been discussed with me prior.
They're just trying to find something to be mad at you about.
Loopholes.
Yeah.
They're like, you can't marry him. You can't marry him until
They're
we
doing
say
whatever
so.
they can.
We don't want our daughter to leave we don't want our bird to leave the nest.
I just see crabs in a bucket.
After 2 hours of screaming at me, they gave up and went to bed. I was stressed out of my mind, and I had no idea what to do. I tried talking to them and reasoning with them, but they insisted I was being cruel to my family and that I had turned my back on everything I believed. Fast forward. I'm trying to plan a wedding my parents don't want to come to. I invite several other family members planning on a smaller wedding. My wedding date is set in the spring, just a few months away, but my parents begged me to change it. We just need more time. And your other family members need to get to know him. All of my family live very far away, more than 16 hours for some.
Oh my gosh.
I caved, hoping that things would get better. No.
Oh, no.
They did not get any better. Daily, I was asked if I was pregnant, if we would be convinced to wait until next year. And why, oh why, did I hate my family so much? Our wedding was now set in fall instead of the spring like I wanted, and my father began telling me things like, your wedding will be like a funeral, and why would you marry such a loser of a man? He's so incompetent and unlikable. And I can't believe he bought you that ring. It's not even a real diamond.
What?
Why?
Dude, why are we
What are they
this?
trying to get out of this? Like, you're trying to just make your daughter unhappy?
Yeah, I'm confused too.
Like, why? What is the actual reasoning? Because again, they're not traditional.
Yeah.
It seems like religion is not a huge aspect yet.
Yeah.
No religion yet.
A dad's a narcissist. I just think they like to see pain.
I think they just
And
like to have.
suffering.
I think they just like the word control,
Yeah.
and they love having control of their daughter. It was so demoralizing. I had picked out my ring. I had picked out the ring myself, and I loved that it wasn't a diamond.
Oh.
Then he told me that all our family members from across the country did not want to come.
Dude, he's just saying stuff to get in your head.
They were being just nice, and that everyone was depressed and upset because of me. I had enough. My now husband and I talked it out and decided to get married exactly when we had originally wanted to. Hell yeah. We were done with their terrible words and behavior, and in a way, maybe it was a little vengeful too. We were also stressed out, trying to be kind, but also not just give in to every single little thing they wanted. But it was definitely worth it to see my father's face when I told him and my non-in-laws that we were getting married in 7 days.
Whoa, how the tables have turned.
And that I would like them to be there.
Aw,
Hey, we're getting married in 7 days. I would love for you guys to be there.
that's so nice.
My horrified parents came to the wedding and walked me down the aisle as I requested. I knew that someday we make up, they will be glad I invited them and that they were a part of it.
Yeah, facts.
They were very upset, and my mother cried loudly the whole time. They were tears of joy.
Sure.
But I ignored it. And as I read my personal vows and promised to love my husband forever, it made me so happy.
Aww.
The weather was perfect, our pastor was in full agreement that we should move forward, and the people we loved most were able to make it. Birds sang, the sky was blue. It was gorgeous. Fast forward 2 years. I am happier and healthier than I have ever been, and my husband provides very, very well. We are so content, and we are at peace knowing that we made a very good decision. Marriage is great when it's the right person. My cousin came to visit me, and she asked if I was happy. I told her yes.
Aww.
And asked her if my family was still depressed. She was confused and asked me what I was talking about.
Oh no.
I explained that my father had told me that my whole family was depressed and in despair over my marriage and that they hadn't wanted to come because my wedding would be like a funeral to them. She was horrified. My father had lied about everything, and everyone had wanted to come and be a part of it. My father also lied about my husband's character, so when everyone met him that Christmas, they were surprised at how kind, generous, and intelligent he is.
Yeah, he's just mean.
He sucks. He's a loser.
Selfish.
I don't know why my
and really
daughter is marrying this
dumb.
loser. You don't want to meet him. He sucks. Fast forward another 6 months. So we're 2 years and 6 months.
2.5 years.
My father's friends are slowly drifting away for unknown reasons. My family members have started to confront him on his behavior, and now he's reeling because he can't get away with emotional outbursts anymore. He's going to have to close his business due to screaming at his workers, making them quit and report him, and now being investigated by OSHA.
Oh.
Maybe someday he'll learn that being a nasty person doesn't work out in the end. Maybe not. But I know what you could do. You can join us live every weekday, 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. But back to the story.
Okay.
I have no idea what the future holds with him, but my future with my husband looks great.
Aw.
We are so happy and he treats me so well, I honestly can't even some days. He's also helping me process my childhood and I'm seeing real healing. So in the end, it feels like my experience is what we all want. For karma to do its job and keep nasty behavior in check. Thanks for reading. Please be kind if you comment. Yeah, the main thing is, would you call out your dad? I mean, it looks like everyone else is calling out the dad, but like, would you as OP call out your dad? Be like,
no, because they have a weird, complicated history, or not. Just like the way they communicate with each other, the mom and dad.
Yeah,
dad's a narcissist, and then the mom turns around
supports
and is like,
it.
"You're the victim."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Like,
how could they say that to you? Oh.
Well, again, karma is karma here, and I love it. You get what you deserve, Dad.
Yeah, Dad.
But that's the end of that story.
I found out my stepmom was cheating with my dad years before the divorce. Now my stepbrother has something to tell me?
Is it, I just got a new pack of Pokemon cards?
That's exactly what it was.
Yo.
When I, 22 male, was 4, my dad, 42 male, divorced my mom. About a year later, he introduced me to my stepmom, 42 female, and she now has 2 girls, N and D, that are both 22 as well. They married only a few months after dating and went on to have 3 more kids. G, 16 male, L, 10 male, and S, 4 female.
Okay.
My father adopted the twins N and D because their biological father was not involved. I've always considered all 5 of them my siblings, and we've never used step or half to refer to each other as siblings. When I was 6, shortly after G's birth, my mom passed away in a car accident, and because of it, I started to live with my dad full time. My relationship with my stepmom improved from there. She never adopted me. However, she, along with my dad, kept my mom's memory alive by keeping in touch with my maternal grandparents and other relatives, as well as visiting the grave with me on special days.
Okay, so it sounds like things are going well.
It's pretty good. Now, I started calling her mom when I was around 7 or 8, and she refers to me as her eldest child.
Wow. Okay, things going really
That's pretty
well.
close. Now, after 18, I started to work, but I continued to live with my parents. But last week, I was in the attic when I found a photo album that I've never seen before.
Is it a raunchy photo album? Is it like a pinups?
Or dad's lingerie.
Dad and some stilettos.
Ooh.
Daddy.
OP opened it, and I saw several pictures of my dad, my stepmom, and the twins when they were babies. But here's the thing. That makes no sense to me because, like I said, they were toddlers when our parents met. How could they be babies? Makes no sense.
Doesn't add up.
I decided to confront my parents about it. I sat them down in the kitchen alone and asked them how they met, and they told me the story that soon after my dad's divorce, he met my stepmom through a mutual friend. But when they were done, I took one of the pictures and threw it down on the table and demanded they tell me the truth.
This is like a courtroom law trick where it's like, where were you the night of the 17th? Oh, really? You were just out with your friends? Well, here's the proof.
Now, I could tell by my dad's face, he understood what I meant.
Ooh.
My dad told me that his marriage with my mom was going through a hard time because of my mom's infertility issues. One day he met my stepmom and things escalated quickly. And when he was ready to leave my mom, she found out that she was pregnant, but so did my stepmom.
Yo, man's packing a punch.
These are straight shooters.
Whatever was in the juice that week, juice more, my friend.
So he lied to my mom several times so that way he could spend time with my stepmom and her baby twins. One day he admitted to my mom that he was having an affair, and then they got divorced. So I looked at my stepmom and she was in tears. They both tried to say sorry, but I couldn't stay in that house any longer. I'm currently staying at my girlfriend's house. I haven't talked to my other siblings, G, L, and S. It's pained me a lot. And G said that S cried for me, and that just breaks my heart.
Yikes.
Now, I have refused to talk with my parents or the affair twins, N and D. The 3 of them lied to me.
The affair twins.
This feels like such an origin story of like, I trusted the twins, but they betrayed me.
They betrayed me, and now I'm seeking revenge.
Yes. I feel like my whole life was built on lies and I am lost. I do not know what to do. I still love my sisters and my parents, but they, especially my parents, have hurt me so much.
Yikes. I don't know how OP's going to be able to get over this.
Well, OP has a plan.
What's the plan?
I have come to the conclusion that I should talk with the affair twins, N and D, and I will send them a message so we can meet in person and talk about it.
The affair twins.
Dun, dun, dun. I will also try to meet with my younger siblings because I have not seen them since last week. I just talked to them over the phone and I miss them. About my parents, I don't know what I'll do. I need to talk to them so I can at least get some closure, but I don't know if I'll be able to. We have updates on updates.
Let's see it.
So, my sisters knew about my father's affair with their mother.
They knew.
They knew. They knew the whole time.
Bro, like when I was that age, I could barely keep any secret about like what bubblegum flavor I was eating.
So I made my post and I made the group chat with the twins and texted them. We decided to meet. My girlfriend wanted to come with me, but I told her I'd rather go alone. And when I arrived there, they were already there and they started to try and make small talk, but I just went straight to the point. I asked them if they knew and they started to tear up. They always knew that my dad had an affair, but they only knew that they were his daughters when they turned 16 because our parents told them. They initially wanted to tell me, but my dad and stepmom pressed them not to say anything because if they told me, it would destroy our family.
I mean, probably true.
Probably true.
I think
it
that's
is
what's
right
happening right now.
I asked them how things were at home. They told me that G and L started to be rude to our parents while S just kept asking about me. They asked if I could forgive them. I told them that I still love them, but I need time, and they told me they understood that. I said I was sorry and that I shouldn't blame them for my dad's mistakes. They told me that they should have told me earlier. We hugged it out and cried together. We said our goodbyes and I went home, and my girlfriend asked me how I was, and I just broke down.
Yeah.
She held me tight and told me not to hold on and that she was there for me. Words cannot describe how much I love this woman. She has been my rock through all of this. I talked to my younger siblings this morning and we met at the park. I hugged them really tight, especially S. I'm super attached and really protective of her. And I tried to explain her in a toddler-friendly way that I was mad at our parents because they did a bad thing and I wasn't mad at her. She asked if I was ever going to come back home and I told her I didn't know, but I still loved her. Man, it's so hard to like.
Yeah, like the kid is caught in the middle.
They literally can't comprehend.
I feel like OP is making a lot of the right moves.
100%.
It's just such a tricky situation.
I talked to my brothers to see how they were holding on. G and L told me that they've been having a hard time because they never thought that our parents could do something so horrible. They told me they missed me, but understood why I had to leave. We spent the morning together, and after lunch, they went back home. I haven't talked to my parents yet, but I plan to call my maternal grandparents tonight to see if they knew or not.
If the grandparents knew too, like OP was just freaking betrayed by everyone.
But you know what, Sam? We're going to the final level here. We are confronting the father and stepmom about the affair. My dad and stepmom have wanted to meet and talk since I found out about their affair. I wasn't feeling ready to do it. My girlfriend said I should to eventually meet with them so at least I could hear their side. And my girlfriend told me that she wanted to come with me. My girlfriend and I sat down with my dad and my stepmom yesterday in a public space. We arrived before them. I was feeling nervous and my leg was shaking. My girlfriend held my hand and told me not to worry because she was there for me. When they arrived, I was looking at the floor. I just couldn't look them in the eyes. My dad was trying to ask me things like how I was, and I just asked him to explain everything. From the moment he met my mom to the moment he divorced her. Getting the full story here. My dad told me that he met her at church, and the moment he laid eyes on her, he fell in love and they soon started dating. My dad said my mom was a perfect partner. He said she was kind, loving, and very concerned about him. My dad proposed to her on her 18th birthday. Wow. And she cried tears of joy. My dad said that he never saw my mom so happy until the day I was born, but they did have problems having kids. They had several miscarriages, and my dad started to cheat on my mom with my now stepmom because the stepmom could give me what your mom couldn't.
Adopt, bro.
My dad started to spend less and less time at home, and at this point, he started crying. He said that my mom tried her best and told him every day how much she loved him and how sorry she was that she couldn't give him a family. Bro, why would you?
Wow.
And he's literally cheating on her.
Oh.
My father was planning on leaving my mom, but then she told him she was pregnant. In the same week, my dad found out my stepmom was pregnant as well. My dad initially believed that I was going to be a miscarriage, but it didn't happen. He said that when I was born, my mom couldn't stop looking at me and crying and smiling at the same time. My dad said that my mom held his hand and said, "We finally did it, my love."
Oh,
Bro, imagine what's going through his head. I started to cry a bit. My dad and my stepmom tried to comfort me, but I just asked how my mom reacted to my dad's affair and why my dad...
Yo, this sucks. This sucks. It's so much worse than I could have imagined.
But it gets better, Sam. I asked him all that and why my dad waited 4 years to divorce her.
That's impressive, honestly. Keeping a secret that big, having two families with affair twins.
My dad said that during those 4 years, my mom became overprotective of me. He gave me a few examples, like my mom had me in a crib in their room when I was a baby. Whenever I was crying, she was the one to calm me down and didn't let anyone else do it. She wouldn't let anyone else hold me until I was a bit older. And she wanted to be a stay-at-home mom so she could spend literally all her time with me. It took my dad and grandparents from both sides to convince her not to do that. This caused them to have less and less time alone. And during those 4 years, my mom's sex drive got lower and she didn't get pregnant again when they did it. My dad told my mom about the affair and he laid everything out, including the twins. My mom begged him not to leave her, making more promises that she would have more sex with him. And if my dad wanted, he could continue to have the affair and have another child and that my mom would still treat them well.
Oh,
jeez.
oh,
God.
Oh, this is heartbreaking.
My dad said that his mind was made up and my mom cried and asked him to leave her alone for a while.
This guy.
Dude.
This guy.
What more could he want if she is open to that?
This guy's scum. Oh, my heart hurts so much for this family.
This is one of the worst scenarios probably that we've come across.
You can't trust anyone.
You really can't, bro. When my dad got back, he heard my mom singing my song. He went to my room and peeked through the door and saw my mom in the room holding me in her arms while singing. I fell asleep after my mom started crying softly, probably so I wouldn't wake up. My dad said she just started kissing me on the forehead and that she loved me over and over again. My dad told me that my mom slept with me that night and the next day they started to discuss their divorce. My dad said that my mom did her best not to portray him as the bad guy. And when I asked who I was going to live with, my mom said I was going to be with her 1 week and then my dad the other. So she even still split time. She's not even trying to get full custody.
Oh.
My dad tried to guilt trip me. He said that my mom could tell everyone about the affair and could have pushed to have full custody of me, but she understood it wasn't healthy for you.
She just wants what's best for her kid.
Completely putting her own self-interest aside.
This sucks.
In every scenario.
I am in turmoil. I am in turmoil.
I simply asked about the twins. How was their relationship with him before and why did he tell them? He said when the twins were born, my mom was already at home, but he was able to visit my stepmom in the hospital. I asked him if he had always been the twins' legal father, to which he replied yes. My father said that he would visit the twins and my stepmom at least once a week, and he said he thought the twins should know because he wanted the truth to come from them. Like, why not the same for OP?
This guy sucks.
I told my dad that his actions have showed me he is nothing more than a selfish a-hole, that he's hurted me, the twins, my mom, and all the people he loves and respects.
True.
I told him that we could never have any type of meaningful relationship, to forget about being at my wedding or ever meeting my kids. The maximum I could ever do was tolerating him and his wife for the sake of my siblings, mainly my 4-year-old sister. My stepmom tried to intervene and she said, "Son."
Ooh, there's a clap back coming.
Before she could continue, my girlfriend replied that I was not her son, that she was just my father's lover, and that my real mom has passed away. We soon left. As we were walking home, my girlfriend said if it was all right to say that, to which I said yes. When we got home, she held my hand and took me to our room. We laid down in our bed and I buried my face in her chest. I want you to know how proud I am of you and how you've shown how strong and mature you are, but you don't need to act tough around me. Please let it all out. I started to cry as I never have before.
This is unrelenting.
I know.
Let it end, John.
After what seemed to be an eternity, I told my girlfriend I wanted to see some of my mom's pictures so I could calm down. It started off all right, but then I landed on these 2 pictures. In the first one, my mom was holding me and looking at me with a big smile. In the other one, she was giving me a big kiss and I just lost it again. She didn't deserve any of this. I wished she could have found someone better than my dad, someone she could have loved and treated her like she deserves. I'm a little better now, but I'm still an emotional mess. My girlfriend says that she's been worried about my mental state and that she wants me to see a therapist.
Yes, please.
Please do.
You need to see like 12 therapists because this I need a therapist for having listened to this.
I told her I agreed and asked her to help set up the appointment because I was not capable of doing that right now. I want to thank everyone who's commented, sent DMs, and gave me advice. Thank you all. It means a lot. If something happens in my life, I will keep you updated.
That sucked.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you recover from that.
I think the silver linings, like it seems that OP has found an amazing partner.
Yeah.
Seems like he still has
At least he has that. At least he has that until the update is my girlfriend cheated on me with my dad.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, man.
Jesus.
And
I feel like that's
a great place to close it off, ain't it?
This is like just teaching me like what not to do in relationships.
It's honestly, it is the masterclass.
Yeah, dude, we're gonna be so good at not f***ing up relationships.
Oh my god, we're just gonna be relationship kings,
dude. Yeah,
it's gonna be crazy.
My dad was hitting on my girlfriend like a total creep, lied about it, and only came clean after she got pregnant.
Okay,
OP.
This is OKOP. I'm Samuel Donner.
And I'm John Fry.
And we tell the funniest stories on the internet throughout the world and through all time. And John, can you tell me a story about, and just anything, just please entertain me.
Look, I have twists, turns, things you won't believe, you'll laugh, you'll cry. It's basically an Oscar winning.
All right. Let's make sure the Academy is notified after we finish.
I, 21 male, have never experienced something like this before, so I am feeling really crushed right now. My dad was my hero, someone I looked up to. I've been with my girlfriend for over a year and only seen my parents a couple of times. We moved in together during COVID and our relationship is getting really serious. I really wanted her to get along with my family like I get along well with hers. We went over last week on Saturday, then Sunday morning after breakfast, she tells me she's got something to show me because something happened when I took my mom to the grocery store. She took out a video of my dad with her, and right off the bat, my dad was acting really weird. But I could tell my girlfriend was nervous by the way she was talking. He was telling her she's really beautiful and then went on to say this really, really gross stuff that he would do if he wasn't married. It made me really mad, and my girlfriend in the video sounded extremely nervous, and she told him, well, they wouldn't do any of that even if he wasn't married.
That's weird.
Then sometimes the camera would move away from him like she's trying to get away, and he would just move closer. It goes on like this for 5 minutes, and then he asked if he could have a kiss and all this other stuff that made my stomach just twist up in anger.
Oh, God. That's so creepy.
Beyond unacceptable. Like, 1,000 lines have been crossed here. My girlfriend told me she was sorry, and I was like, what? I told her I'm sorry, and we're not going back again, I promise. So basically, he's like, I'm not putting you anywhere near my dad again. I told my mom about it because I don't know if I could talk to my dad without wanting to beat the crap out of him. And I'm shocked about the way she's behaving about this. She's seen the video, but she says my dad doesn't remember and was obviously drunk. But that's not true. And it wouldn't have made a difference even if he was. We know that night that he had like max 3 beers, which is nothing to him. He says he's sorry for making her uncomfortable and he really didn't know what he was doing. Now I'm also mad at my mom
for defending him.
Yeah, for saying that he didn't do anything wrong. And we're making a big deal by saying me and my girlfriend aren't going to see them anymore. And this is after she's seen the video with all that stuff going. Like, that is pretty creepy, bro. Atrocious. Atrocious. All week she'd been calling me to say my dad is hurt by this and that they didn't think I'd be so willing to drop them over a misunderstanding. I don't know what to do anymore because I need to support my girl, but it's hurting me that they don't see how effed up my dad was. How do I handle this situation with them?
That's so tricky.
It is tricky. It is very tricky.
It's just tough, dude.
It's a horrendous situation.
I think OP made a good decision here. I think it would be hard to completely cut off your parents forever for this, but like there's some serious conversations that need to be happened, and there needs to be trust repaired, and that could take years.
Exactly. Like my situation is like they're not like owning up to it, essentially, right? It's like but both of them, like, how is it both of them? That's
Actually, I just don't know how you come back from that. Like, I don't know how like you trust.
Yeah, they would have to be like completely over the moon, doing everything they can to repair the relationship.
Well, at least OP is in the right on this one. Like that is freaking effed up.
OP's definitely in the right here. And there is an update.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
There is more. First off, wanted to thank everyone for your thoughts on what I should do about the issue with my dad. I haven't talked to any of them for a few weeks, but something happened that suddenly made my dad change his story. So me and my girlfriend learned something pretty cool this week. She was 3 days late on her period, so she took a test and they came out positive. So she is definitely pregnant. We're nervous / excited about it. And we didn't expect that right now, but at this point, we're just getting ready for it. Thing was, my cousin was there at our place when my girlfriend took the test. And we were so focused on the fact that she's pregnant and getting all excited, I didn't think to tell my cousin, don't tell my parents. But I guess she thought I would have told them already, so she let it slip. Now my mom is trying to reach out again, non-stop, and my dad too this time. He's told me he's sorry, but he really wants to be a part of my life and our kid's life. Now he's sorry for lying about being drunk, and he doesn't know why he did what he did, but he, quote unquote, guesses he was embarrassed about what he did to my girlfriend.
As you should be.
As you freaking should be. Good God. He never planned to actually do anything with her, he says, like that's something that matters. He claims he's going to work on himself when before there was even a baby in the picture, he was sticking to his lie about A, not remembering what he did, and B, being too drunk. Now he's admitting at this point that he was fully sober. I knew that was a lie already, but having that confirmation, I don't know, it made me so much more mad and sad because he knew exactly what he was doing, scaring and being a complete creep to my girlfriend like that. With his own kid's girlfriend at that, like seriously.
Yeah, so effed up.
I hated that he was making me cry on the phone, hearing him cry like that. He wanted me to give him another chance. I told him they're not allowed around me, my girlfriend, or our kid. And I hope he knows just how big he effed up and to never do that to anyone else. Now, it hurt me saying goodbye to my dad. I told him he better not try to come around because I won't hold back this time, even if my girlfriend's there to try to stop me. I can't forgive something like this or let him be around her. She was really supportive after I finished talking to him and we both just cried together for a little bit. And then I felt better. Kind of feel bad that she's over here trying to make me feel better though. And then I had to tell my cousin why I didn't tell them, but she's going to keep that from the rest of the family. I don't want to deal with this from anybody else yet. Just right now, I'm still sad, but I'll also try to be happy that I'm going to be a good dad and get ready for this experience.
I mean, it seems like OP made the right decision.
Yeah. I mean, it's super tough, right? Like just
tough.
Completely cutting out your parents. Like that is.
Yeah. That's a really big decision.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like no excuse for the dad's actions. I don't know. It's just tough, dude. Like
it
sucks.
situation.
It sucks.
It definitely sucks.
I think OP made a good decision here. Dad is obvious a-hole. Mom is a lesser a-hole, but still kind of an a-hole. Yeah. Maybe it will be resolved in a few years.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to cut out family forever.
Especially your parents.
That's
a crazy one.
That sucks.
But on another note,
you know what never sucks?
Is subscribing to your pals OKOP, guys.
Hey, 7 John right here.
Subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify, TikTok.
Everywhere.
Just smash the follow everywhere. And we'll see you next time.
See you soon.